are these people?
This is great experiment. Read my lips. Brand new taxes, starving all the billionaires and neutering their Visa Maxes. Topple Congress off their axis, mobilize the homeless, give them access, call it praxis. Chop a couple limbs off the legislative branches. We'll show you the difference between air as a human right and guaranteed oxygen access. Octogenarians who barely know what day it is are calling countless citizens while sitting on a dais made of ignorance that was built on the graves of the slaves made to labor for its self-declared significance, and all to build a Congress full of millionaires who make their fortunes insider trading while they shit on all the indigent. So I got a bone to pick with our leaders, and I'll start with the ligaments. I'll pick right through the muscle, dig the marrow out, and serve it to the unhoused millions living in their minivans, watching their belongings get evicted out their tenement. See, I have a dream where we breach the walls of Congress and just let them in. And what happens next will survive in only text, because there won't be any evidence. There will only be that heavy kind of feeling that pervades a space where there had been a reckoning, and you can feel its remnants. Let any man who enters seeking power know that those who came before him suffocated on their eminence. That there once was a seal on the wall, but we quartered it and scattered all the pieces that it might prevent its semblance. And so we end the great experiment. We'll take all your billions, leave you 2 coins for the ferryman. Leave you drifting on a Dutchman, floating derelict among the wretched seraphim. For holy is the hand that wiped the land clean of those who pose as gentlemen. That's my time, honey. Cue the thunderclap and strike the theremin. So we end the great experiment. And
Who are these people?
this is American tradition. Although he's not the slickest vulture to have ever picked a carcass, he's just the kind to catch us at our darkest for an easy harvest. He's just the kind to serve us to the markets, who will see you lose your home before his donors let him bargain, who will give a cop the go-ahead to shoot you in the leg before they let you harm a target. And being an American, I love watching garbage, but it's overload. And this is not my first rodeo. I don't drop mics, but I choke slam podiums. And so we go. A little bit of Troy, a little Roanoke. Karma, come and hold me close. Tell me how you told me so. I'm overboard. I'm blowing out. I'm Holy Ghost in stolen shroud, soaked in old petroleum and calling down the rolling clouds. I slowly moved my mouth and formed the only sound I knew, and it was always out of tune, but it's the ugly fucking truth, and now it's flowing out. Break the banks, flood the basin. I transcribed a translation, spoke it out of Morse code, and straight into capsaicin. And I hope it suits your station, 'cause it's my last release that won't require proof of vaccination. I got all my rates adjusted for infection and inflation, bloating and decay, and all the perks of radiation. We see the virus for the profits, not the patients. Honey, look at all the records set for all these corporations. When COVID started spreading, they were just a side of celebration. They got 1 record quarter in the bag, and now they're all impatient. They'd rather have a toe to tag than see a mouth to feed, or worse, a kid in need of education. And honey, only money's making that distinction. They're gonna thin the herd straight through starvation to the brink of our extinction. Capitalism favors innovation, and it is never at a loss for ways to make us hate our liberation and cloud our vision. Somewhere in America, a man with no money in the bank is on his way to City Hall to go complain about proposals for a soup kitchen. And he'll never see the tiny bit of irony that floats in all the tragedy of his position. And he's not the only one. It's an American tradition. And so it goes, in endless perpetuity. We've never deviated from the mission. I sat out the ritual. I listened from the sand, held my head between my hands, and muttered, dying would be easy. Life's an everyday decision. And I am not the only one. It's an American tradition. I bet you thought that Trump would go to jail and Joe would listen. Well, you're not the only one. It's an American tradition.
Who are these people?
So yeah, from the Grift Home Companion, here is Hello Somebody. Hello somebody desperate. Hello somebody gullible. Hello anyone left who can swallow the bait, who ain't already rocking a stomach full. Maybe they knew and they ate it the same because there's no other way to assure that their stomach's full. Maybe they just know that they love the taste, so they'll put it away by the shovelful. So hello to somebody trying to feed us the light blue shit like it tastes any different or makes any Democrat any less culpable. Hello to someone who couldn't be troubled to mention a march for the healthcare struggle and spent the day cozy with donors who matter, who keep our progressives all wealthy and comfortable. Well, I recommend your protests be anything but peaceable and all your disobedience be decidedly uncivil. You don't need a permit to declare that you have principles and love. It's only natural that seeing all these fascist assholes stacking up the Capitol would manifest in something loud and passionate and visceral. Keep it in your heart, because it's the only way we'll ever start to flesh out something livable. Maybe that was literal. Maybe our utopia is built from all the sinews of the moderates and liberals, salvaged when they broke their backs with NPR gymnastics, simultaneously hiding from the truth while sticking out their necks for pedophiles, Nazis, and the upper fucking echelon of World War criminals. But baby doll, it's not your fault. It's really all subliminal. They've sewn the propaganda into every thread of visuals, grown the propaganda off of truly noisome victuals. Rows of propaganda propagated out of ritual, straight into your ocular and straight out your occipital, straight up to the point you flip on everything that's pivotal. Any crucial aspect of survival for the middle class becomes the holy unicorn you ridicule and snicker at and praise each piece of legislature dancing round the borders of the looking glass. Well, it's not truly possible to try and stop the suffering of people that you spend each waking moment simply looking past. Walking past a sobbing homeless family, like, look at that. Bet they'd be in better shape if they'd have voted Democrat. Hello, somebody ignorant enough to still believe that there's some fundamental difference in the moral stance between the couple barrels that they're staring at. Like one's just got a slug, the other's loaded up with sarin gas. Both of them are pointed at your temple, and they're both equipped to make this breath your final gasp. Hello, somebody dense enough to split the hairs of which one is the kinder executioner with what will be their final task.
Who are these people?
Okay, here's Superstarver.
Guys, we still have the co-op coming up.
Sorry, I'm so gloomy, but the gloom is half the mood. Welcome to the country where they throw out half the food. Like, fuck you if you're hungry, we got better things to do. Got a million more priorities than human rights for you. Just empty stomachs wandering an empty store, with shelves as empty as our craters left on distant shores. They marked the spot where once a country thrived that even tried to help its poor. Now in its place a fascist state where rape is just a tool of war. No, I guess they took a page from out the book we used in '64. The villagers we stacked in graves, caked in fucking Agent Orange. Now cut to yesterday, Afghanistan endures the very storm that swept its way through Vietnam, where even now the blood is warm. Even now Fallujah celebrates to see a baby born who's not deformed, not warped by little presents we left hidden in the dirt, courtesy of all your friends at the World Economic Forum. Courtesy of civilized political decorum, unity across the aisle, both sides agreeing via war crime quorum. You know, I'd like to say that when they start the midterm texts, I'll be able to ignore them, but I know myself well enough to know I'm gonna draw them all rhetorically, then verbally I'll quarter them. Lyrically, I'll carpet bomb and mortar them. Purely via metaphor, I'll bury them alive, but upside down, with the utmost blasphemy intended out of spite. Lyrically, I'll lead them by the eyes, cause lyrically I'm still beneath the ice, scratching at the surface for a purpose they deny. And every time they smile and they look me in the eyes, and suddenly we're 6 feet under subprime, 6 feet standing firmly in between you and the sunrise. And now your movement's as restricted as the sunrise. Now it's crippled into parody like Occupy. Young hearts be free, young Turks here to slowly poison hearts and minds. Here to get them speaking press release in record time. Here to get them standing up for AOC and every other Langley plant who sprays the coat of tax the rich across their Semper-Fi. And all the skies are nice and clear, the drones are set to fly. They are following the pipeline of how the West was won to how the West declined, to how the West made debt into a genocide, to how the West demolishes a picket line, to how the West contaminates a riverside, to how the West's war crimes are glamorized, to how the West protects the kind of medical neglect that is infanticide at best and is at worst an ethnic cleansing rite. No, it's safe to say it's all fun and games until the feds arrive. Oh, shit.
Who are these people?
All right, so this is going to be What Pet Should I Get? This was at the special request
The last of the Indies Children trilogy.
Yes. One of my daughters has been hounding me for months. Can Jesse read What Pet Should I Get? So, sweetie, here, this is for you.
And here it is. And for all of your kids, thank you so much for lending me your dad so often and letting him do everything he does for us, because he does a lot of really incredible work for a really lot of awesome people, and we love him dearly. So This is the least we could do for you guys. This is What Pet Should I Get? Fun fact, this is a posthumous release. He had finished the story, but he hadn't colored it in. So basically, after like a decent bit of time had passed, I think his wife and a few other people that he had worked with were like, all we got to do is colorize this, and we could put it out. And another one of those great Dr. Seuss cliffhangers that made my son want to punch a wall. He got to this and he's like, wait, I just got to figure it out myself.
Oh, dude.
Livid. It was great.
When I read this to the first grade class, we had some really unhappy kids in a first grade class. Like, well, but the best part is that it's a choose your own adventure, guys. Like, what? Mm-hmm. And then I got to ask each one of them, what would you get? And then they kind of got it there. Well, you guys will see. But yes, I can get why he would do that.
Speaking of Dr. Seuss stuff that made Fox mad, I made him watch the original Lorax. And a little ways in, once things are kind of taking a turn, he looks at me, he's like, this is awfully suspicious.
I love that kid.
You're right.
I love that kid. He's so damn smart.
All right. Speaking of kids we love, what pet should I get? By Dr. Seuss. I feel like that part's implied. We want a pet. We want a pet. What kind of pet should we get? Dad said that we could have one. Dad said he would pay. I went to the pet shop. I went there with Kay. And so we went in. I took one fast look. I saw a fine dog who shook hands. So we shook. So I said, I want him. But then Kay saw a cat. She gave it a pat and she said, I want that. Then Kay said, now what do you think we should do? Dad said to pick one. We cannot take home two. Then, what do you know? We saw two other kinds. Now, how could Kay and I make up our minds? A pup and a kitten. They looked like good fun. Now, which would we pick? We could only pick one. Make up your mind. The cat or the dog? The kitten, the pup? Oh boy, it is something to make a mind up. Then I looked all around. I saw something with wings. I said, look at him. We can pick one that sings. But then look over there, said my sister Kay. We could go home with a rabbit today. Then I looked at Kay. I said, what will we do? I like all the pets that I see, so do you. We have to pick one pet and pick it out soon. You know, Mother told us to be back by noon. And I could have done it. I could have, I bet. I could have said what pet we should get, but you know what Kay did? You know what she did? She said, fish, 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 fish. It may be a fish is the pet that we wish. Then I saw a new kind, and they were good too. How could I pick one? Now, what should we do? We could only pick one. That is what my dad said. But how could I make up that mind in my head? Pick a pet fast. Pick one out soon. Mother and Dad said to be home by noon. The time may be now to make up my mind, but who knows what other good pets I may find. I might find a new one, a fast kind of thing, who would fly round my head in a ring on a string. Yes, that would be fun, but our house is so small. This thing on a string would bump into the wall. My mother, I know, would not like that at all. So maybe some other good kind of pet, another kind maybe is what we should get. We might find a new kind, a pet who is tall, a tall pet who fits in a space that is small. My mother might like this pet best of them all. But if we had a big tent, then we'd be able to take home a yent. Dad would like us to have a good yent, but how do I know he would pay for a tent? So you see how it is when you pick out a pet. How can you make up your mind what to get? But what if we took one of each kind of pet? Then our house would be full of the pets we would get. No, Dad would be mad. We can only have one. If we do not choose, we will end up with none. I will do it right now. I will do it, I said. I will make up the mind that is up in my head. The dog or the rabbit, the fish or the cat. I picked one out fast, and then that was that. Left to decide.
Who are these people?
This is called Meatspeaker. Our greatest threats are lesser evils, joining hands to hold us back. Worried looks from heartless people, tearful words from soulless hacks, faux concern from thieves and rapists, thoughts and prayers from Epstein's friends, moral laws from fascist racists, healthcare laws from Cigna's pens. Bought and sold progressive leaders say we're starving much too loud, but all I see are meaty speakers talking down to hungry crowds. Squad and all their sleazy leeches feast on workers plump with clout, stalking through the tallest grassroots, track the unions, drag them down, reap their labor, eat their labor, none too proud to suck it out, none too shamed to freeze your wage, then beg for change like fund me now. Rush me $20 or our democracy will surely drown. Rush me $20 so we can cluster bomb 100 towns. Rush me $20 and once you've emptied out your bank account, you'll get to say you've made us proud and BlackRock gets to take your house. Just rows and rows of perfect clones of vacant homes, raised to bones, then carried off by corporate crows. Beneath a gaping sky where nothing lives and nothing grows, but hungry money swells and bloats, and money-hungry grifters gloat to fleece the coats and trust and votes of sheep and sacrificial goats. They coax their hopes like open throats where leeches feast on helpless hosts. The offer sees their beast invoked. The BlackRock altar belches smoke. It rises that the world may know they've christened 2 new CEOs, one for press and public show, and one that just the board will know. Who wears a crown of migrants' hands and smiles when the cities flood, who's been anointed head to toe in workers' rights and children's blood, who bought the bill that soaked organic vegetables in fracking mud, who made his billions banking on technologies for tracking us, who filmed us every day as we kept smiling where the camera was and streaming from our cancer clusters, chatting up some Langley bugs. Who take the time to listen when you think that no one gives a shit. Nice enough to help you sew your discord into stripper clips, lead you to an act that they have planned out like a business trip, show you where the buzzwords go when manifesting manuscripts. It's manufactured terrorism, crafted by precision tip, sanded past all recognition, ground beneath clandestine grit, carefully conducted by the feds in the orchestral pit, watched by millions, none the wiser, smiling wide, applauding it. So who yells fire in the theater when they don't smell the hint of smoke? What audience, enwrapped and eager, rises up as one to go and flees as from some gnarled reaper, leaves the actors there alone? Who would hear one frantic teacher, warnings blared through tears and foam, to rob yourselves of entertainment, leave your seats, but don't go home. The war outside is greater than these actors care to show. We have one night left before containment. Early dawn, they'll drop the dome. The streets tonight need all your anger. Playing now, the fall of Rome. That's Meatspeaker.
Who are these people?
Oh, there's a capo on this one. That's why that feels wrong. Hang on. Oh, man. You got a fast car. I wanna take it to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. You got a fast car. I got a plan to get out of here and working at the convenience store. Managed to save just a little bit of money and don't have to drive too far. Across the border and into the city, you and I can both get jobs. Fuck! Finally see what it means to be living. My old man's got a problem. Live with a body, that's the way it is. His body's too old for working. His body's too young to look like his. Mama went off and left him. She wanted more than he could give. Said somebody's gotta take care of him. So I quit school and that's what I did. See, you got a fast car. Fast enough so we can fly away. We gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way. Remember we were driving in your car. Speed so fast it felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us. Your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. And I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. We go cruise and entertain ourselves. Still ain't got a job. I work in the market as a checkout girl, and I know things will get better. You'll find work and I'll get promoted. We'll move out of the shelter, buy a bigger house and live in the suburbs. driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car, and I got a job, pays all our bills. Stay out drinking late at the bar. See more of your friends than you do your kids, and I always hoped for better. Thought maybe together you and me would find it. I ain't got no plans of going nowhere. In the car and you keep on driving. Take your fast car and you keep on driving. I remember we were driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. And the city lights lay out before us. Your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. And I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. It was real touch and go there for a while, folks, but we made it.
We got through that one. I was not sure, but
I wasn't sure either.
you figure it out how to pull it off.
Who are these people?
That's a Chicago song.
Blue Monday, I hate Blue Monday. I gotta work like a slave all day. Here come Tuesday, oh Tuesday. I'm so tired, got no time to play. Here come Wednesday, I'm beat to my socks. My girl calls, gotta tell her about. Because Thursday is a hard working day, and on Friday I get my pay. Saturday morning, oh Saturday morning, oh my tiredness has gone away. In my morning, in my honey, and I'm going on the stand to play. Sunday morning, my head is bad. Oh, but it's worth for the time that I had. But I got to get my rest, 'cause Monday's a mess.
Saturday morning. Oh, Saturday morning. Oh, my tiredness has gone away. I got my money and my honey, and I'm out on the streets to play. Sunday morning, my head is bad, but it's worth it for the time that I had. And I got to get my rest.
On Monday's a mess. Oh, it was all I could do to keep it together once you came in.
Ah, nice.
Oh, I love it.
Who are these people?
last track, I think I only blinked once. I skipped lunch. Blinked twice. Christ, shut your eyes. Now open wide. Fascists took the nation and inflation took a supersize. Now it's sad to say your teachers couldn't quite make the ends collide. But now you'll probably get to see them on the weekends doing Uber drives. See, lube it with a little oil. One, it tastes expensive. Two, you'd be surprised how well it helps you open up your throat so you consume the lie of human rights that was sold to you by suits and ties, designer scents on plastic men with patient fangs and ancient vice. You know, the kind of greed that makes a person lose the sight of morals, so it's easier to sleep at night. It's easier to ease their minds and pick a foreign people we can demonize. If you take a sec to sink into how war criminals think, you'll know you'd never want to see inside. God, if every man's an open book to look within, theirs are bound in human skin and not designed for human eyes. They are wearing human skin, but they can simply not be humanized. They aren't worth the lowest of the poor they swore to crucify. Holy sweet Geneva, there's a mass grave full of dead believers you called the police on because you don't believe in squatters' rights. You believe the sanctity of human life is relative to human worth in terms of work and dollar signs. So listen when I say you need to find the light of day before it's too late to apologize. Like holy sweet Geneva, here's a mass grave you could colonize. Cause you seem to love to talk about the spirit of America. But if you saw the spirit of this land's supposed character, I think that you'd be calling ICE. And I also think the actual America is truly represented by the call to ICE. Is represented best by the descendants of some immigrants, bitching about the immigrants, snitching on some immigrants, playing dumb and innocent like good little Christians as their neighbors get deported. Until they're screaming at the store because they waited 20 minutes more because the staff was short. All because some ordinary bigot started waging war on immigrants. And we'll just keep deporting because like your first vote and each election since, it turned out that the man you were supporting ended up to just be twice the fucking bigot as the bigot that he wins against. And I was not among the herd. You see, a single word from Biden stirred a tingle in the cynic's sense. I knew that a vote for Joe was more like Reagan 2.0. I could smell the sarin smoke that choked around the river bend. And so I spoke about a living end. About an anchor thrown to drowning men, a democratic president, a country never found again. A man who marinated in the blood this land was founded in. A crime bill that contains sufficient lethal ends to drown us in. And all written by a man who wears a crown of sins, who currently is sleeping in a bed of sins. It's no wonder those who truly understand the meaning of democracy are not too keen to let us in. It's no wonder other countries can't conceive of skipping meals or missing rent or being on the streets because you can't afford your medicine. That's uniquely American. And Joe has proved to be the most disturbingly American of presidents. So I shiver when I think of what's to come if he's the precedent. It's a wonder I can even function still to process all the rhyme through all the resonance. Bless my heart, I'm liminally reticent. Standing on a threshold of bone, ash, and sediment, near a faded marker claiming this to be the grave of all my sentiments. Exactly where I left them all and just how I remembered it. It's a wonder I can even function still to process all the rhyme through all the resonance. Bless my heart, I'm liminally reticent. Standing on a threshold of bone, ash, and sediment, near a faded marker claiming this to be the grave of all my sentiments. Exactly where I left them all and just how I remembered it.
Wait, so if you don't trust the CIA and our institutions, then what do you trust?
I love it. Oh, I love it. That was perfect. For a split second, I thought you found the clip, and then I was like, oh, even better, he's doing it live.
are these people?
She said, I can't turn my phone off or the world stops and it's on my phone. And I don't go in airplane mode cause they know when the flight takes off. And I thought I was born for the storm, but tonight I wish the rain would stop. I wish the rain would stop. She said it feels like another day, but I can't say cause I can't stay long. I'm not here, but I'm not gone. She said it feels like another day, but I can't say cause I can't stay long. I'm not here, but I'm not gone. Oh, not here, but I'm not gone. So love, I know I'm right, so I won't waste time to deny my doubts. And I just wanna know what's on your mind, but the Wi-Fi's out. And I know you were born for the storm, but I just need a break in the clouds. Just a break in the clouds. She said it feels like another day, but I can't say cause I can't stay long. I'm not here, but I'm not gone. She said it feels like another day, but I can't say cause I can't stay long. I'm not here, but I'm not gone. Oh, not here, but I'm not gone. I think I'm the same as what I create. Gave it my name to speak for me. When it wanted a face, I showed it my face, as good as my face could look for me. I filter every smile, and I edit every day. I just cut and I paste. She said it feels like another day, but I can't say, 'cause I can't stay long. I'm not here, but I'm not gone. She said it feels like another day, but I can't say, 'cause I can't stay long. I'm not here, but I'm not gone. Oh, not here, but I'm not gone. Oh, not here, but I'm not gone. And that's airplane mode.
Who are these people?
This is called The Kings of Colony. What you're following, that's idolatry, that's just fake. And all that wallowing that you tolerate, that's not fair. The kings of colony watched autonomy make our grave. The kings of colony know no policy, only rain. Now once you fall asleep, it won't bother you what they say. But the kings of colony, while they slaughter, they still complain. Then we say, please color me still.
FCC's in flames. They're buying up Hawaii, and the smoke's not even cleared. Those vultures smelled the fire, and an enterprise appeared. Investment opportunities where melted down communities leave vacant space BlackRock has been lusting for years. The council meets in private. They don't discuss survivors. Concerns among construction groups are all Lahaina hears. They'll wander through your city with this mocking sort of pity next to Oprah and her camera crew who tore the Trail of Tears, where footage flows as freely as the stream of liquid steel and the pools of pure aluminum that trickle down your wheels. And Biden's come to say he knows exactly how it feels, cause he had a kitchen fire once and had to miss a meal. And people still believe that piece of shit deserves your vote. Like he's not why supplies are being smuggled in by boat. Like he's not why our citizens were forced to stay and roast. And he can't unfreeze your funding, folks, cause Azov needs it most. I'll bet my every dollar Biden watched it with a smile. I'll bet he knows the whereabouts of every missing child. He's just the kind of man who lives to trample something tribal, collecting culture's corpses just to throw them on the pile. Like he and all his buddies didn't dream about the day when those who dared defy the donor class are cleared away, when home insurance triples and you can't afford to stay, and your land falls to the hands of those whose windfall fan the flames. The state will take Lahaina, they'll bastardize its name, and tourism will swarm it all the same. See, the state we left Lahaina shows the ground rules of the game, the planes that in the night ignite the planes. And if questions raised that reckon the potential use of lasers, I suggest you take a closer shave by way of Occam's razor. And if those civilians stood between this country and its gains, there's really nothing further to explain. Because you may know this already, but if you truly know our past, this ain't the first occasion and it will not be the last when Americans are kettled in and made to bear the blast, barricaded in and left for ash. See how many in Lahaina now are lying there awake, and they still can hear the city we left leveled in our wake. They still hear all the people that we let the fire take, instructed by police to stay in place. So look to the horizon, cause a fire comes for you. Desire made incarnate of the power-hungry few who've instructed the police to not let anybody through, to barricade them in, and so they do. That's Kings of Colony.
Who are these people?
This is called A Stroll Through the Ruins. Provided radiation's low and the weather's good, we'll take a stroll through where there used to be a neighborhood. I host a clinic called The Finer Points of Settlerhood. Wish I could say it brings a crowd. Oh, baby doll, doomsday went about as well as you said it would. And God, I tried to love the bomb and I never could. There's such a heavy bomb and the humid air of rotted wood. Wish I could clear the smoke and show you round. Earth will be long dead. The meek will gladly take what we can get. And when we meet the earth, if there's no earth to be found, well, we'll just join the party in the ground. Oh,
Oh, God, I love playing those songs.
Who are these people?
I got Buying the Theft locked and loaded.
All right, let's do that.
Land of the free, and you'll know us by the trail of dead. It's just one more world war to complete the set. When you live by the pike, you die by the biff. You die wide-eyed, still pleading the fifth, or crying divine epithets in pathetic attempts at defense. All empathetic for those on your side of the fence. Well, I'll gladly put you and your legacy into an alternate tense. A faltering sense is an altered events. Like hunted ain't a hearse, it's a reaper stretch. Oh, how sweet, she said. Bunch of horns in the street like it's Evil Dead. Where the thin blue line meets razor's edge. And where the corporate ladder ascends to a steel-toed boot that awaits on the ledge. You'll be licking it fresh at your boss's request till it stops each finger and watches you fall to your death and drown in an ocean of debt. Gone with the fodder who gathered to honor the patient left, who purity tested themselves into sections step by step till the next election. It's just one them and the sound of their well-read theorized breath. Now that's harm reduction for the lowly cost of you holding your nose and just openly buying the theft. Maybe it's all in the flick of the pen. Maybe we're all one unmarked van from a trip to the pen. Being guarded by pigs who exist on a diet of dying breaths of much worthier men. Honey, heaven's expecting you. Just don't get too hung up on who they let in. Just look up at the shine on the pearly gates. You don't need to worry if there's lead in the paint. You don't need to worry if there's lead in the water, lead in the milk, lead in the honey, lead in the caustic embrace of the Heavenly Father. Lead is the flavor of passive perpetual slaughter. Lead is the taste of us led to the ledge by the lure of the legend of expert consensus, and then beckon to stretch it just one step farther. And now I hope all the folks who were boastfully gloating and toasting themselves as the heroes of COVID, boosting their boosters and doing their part, are now equally thrilled to be starstruck martyrs. All laid in a government grave with anonymous markers, like you're back from the carvers and off to the splicers. You're the very first wave to be slain in the war against Pfizer, in the 100 years war against Pfizer. See, they're thinning the crowd that is striking right now to bleed adequate pay from those inhuman misers who all sit in their office and designate coffins to people regarded as nothing but profit for Kaiser. Still, the Dems want you nicer. The Dems want you softer. Dems want you kinder. Yeah, they all want you graciously starving in silence. You will speak when you're spoken to. Rest of the time, you and all of us peasants are merely depressing statistics neglected in Congress's binder. All bled, bone dry, then fed to the grinder. And our headstones line each step as reminders. It's a lesson in object permanence learned in the furnace by workers consigned to the fire. Workers bled, bone dry, then fed by the fed to the grinder. Fed by the fed to the grinder. See, the fed went straight to your head. They mind what you hide and your signs unsaid. Your eyes turn blind to the signs unread. Flag bright red, so you let it in bed. You'll let it inside, you'll see that it's fed. Never you mind that it grinds your wealth into bread for itself. Then it bleeds you dry, then it dines on the dead. See, the fed went straight to your head. Mind what you hide and your sighs unsaid. And your eyes turn blind to the signs unread. Flag by red, so you let it in bed. You'll let it inside, you'll see that it's fed. Never you mind that it grinds your wealth into bread for itself. Then it bleeds you dry, then it dines on the dead. Now the fed went straight to your head. Mind what you hide and your sighs unsaid. And your eyes turn blind to the signs unread. Flag by red, so you let it in bed. You let it inside, see that it's fed. Never you mind that it grinds your wealth into bread for itself. Bleeds you dry, then it dines on the dead. Now the fed went straight to your head. Mind what you hide and your sighs unsaid.
Your eyes turn blind to the signs unread. Flag bright red, so you'll let it in bed. You'll see that it's blind, you'll see that it's fed. Never you mind that it grinds your wealth into bread for itself, then it bleeds you dry, then it dines on the dead. Now here's where our leaders would see us all end. Here's where our leaders would see us all end. Oh, here's where our leaders would see us all end. Here's where our leaders would see us all end.
And that's Buying the Theft.
Who are these people?
Animators gets Militia Intent.
You can keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads. Why play civil if you won't listen to 50,000 dead? Now we know our mission, we form a militia, make Congress a prison. Why play civil when all these dead won't make you listen? What's more American than slaying your oppressors? What's more American than liberty or death first? God, I thought we were founded on abolishing the tyranny of those who would starve a village all to live empirically. And I regret that I have only one life to give for my cause now that I can see the cause so clearly. See, I want our leaders, regardless of party, to fear me. I will pick my targets and assassinate them lyrically. I will bring them out into the town square, hook them to the pillory and leave them there. And Hillary, I'll see you there. Nah, Hillary, I'll see you there. You can't keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads. No, why play civil when you wouldn't listen to 100,000 dead? And now we know our mission, we form a militia, make Congress a prison. So why play civil when all these dead won't make you listen? Welcome to the fantasy of rhetoric. And welcome to the last of the free speech while we can get it. And I promise you can get it. All you corporate Democrats and second wave Confederates, GOP illusionists and neo-Nazi bureaucrats. And Stephen fucking Miller, I will see you in the aftermath. When all the laws are dust, there's just moral justice after that. And I would hunt you through the wasteland if it comes to that. Just so I could rub you in the dirt like a cheap human Brillo pad. I could sleep fine when our beds are burning, Stephen, but I'll turn around and run into the blaze to get my pillow back. Cause as long as I can lay my head down, I can live with that. I can deal with a little ash. Cause I could feel like a little of the old me burn with the bed and the rest of my past. The old world where we all lived and we can't get back. The old world where you didn't give and you'd still get back. Where you could rake in 12 billion and give none back. Well, those days are behind us. The virus will kill all of that. Your wealth is behind us and kindness is meant for the past. Our leaders would bind us and starve us and call it a fast. A sacrament meant for their God that they garnish in cash. They feed it the poor by the hundreds, that's all that it asks. Its hunger is legion and people in need are all it will have. Our only chance is to starve it and watch as it turns on them. can keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your hands. You can keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your hands.
Who are these people?
This is easily the most heartfelt love song I ever put my pen to.
There's nothing you could say, nothing you could do could ever make me falter from loving you. Twice baked potato with cheese and sour cream. Twice baked potato with bacon and chives. Your twice baked dream. When they brought you to the table, I could see it in the cheese. You were looking for that special someone, and I knew that someone was me. Twice baked potato with cheese and sour cream. Twice baked potato with bacon and chives. Your twice baked dream.
Oh, twice baked potato. I've never loved anyone as much as I love you. And you know something, sweetheart? These fast 5 minutes that I've spent waiting for you to cool have been the best in my life. And I'll never forget you.
Now the ring that's on my finger, oh, it's an old potato skin, still serves as a constant reminder of that twice baked love I was in. Twice baked potato with cheese and sour cream. Twice baked potato with bacon and chives. Your twice baked dream. I love you.
Who are these people?
Off of the grift. This is the Oil Baron Rescue Plan.
I love it.
In spoken word format. It couldn't have been me, sir. I was front row in my AOC t-shirt, foie gras sucking on a press release, sir. My head down, fourth shot, good little sheep, sir. Sit down, sweetie. The adults are gonna speak first. They trust the science and they're terrified of research. Here to thank our healthcare heroes, they've been feeding to the burnout, feet first. Until suddenly they dip mid-shift, take a header off a bridge. Such a shame, they were really such a sweet nurse. Now they'll never get the card and the cold slice of pizza meant to thank them for their teamwork. Now they'll never get the baggie full of checks mix, which would be the one reward they'd see for all the moms they had to intubate, and all the countless cries of grief since we've been haunted by the specter of the C word. Now all the applause for our healthcare heroes rings a very hollow note because we played it out like Freebird. See, add those ones and zeros, and our fragile checks and balances are checks for all the wealthy who have such unholy talents that we think it's patriotic that we all got zero balances and re-elect Pelosi so she'll face our toughest challenges, which is analogous to water for a drowning man. Nancy disregards our impoverished with a spiteful and dismissive little waving of her withered hand, because 500,000 freezing on the streets is Biden's winter plan. And I bet you swore they told you you were voting for a different man. But really, all you wanted was a different man. And it didn't make a fucking difference if he finishes the previous inhabitants' agenda and starts auctioning protected land. You see, Biden's born to leap at any war a donor's check demands. And it turns out that you can't cure greed once it infects a man. Once they lose respect for human life and focus all their fucking efforts on the oil baron rescue plan. Honey, what are we to Hecuba or Hecuba to us that if she's starving, we should give a damn? Why should we be moved to tears if someone isn't eating? We won't even recognize that food is essential to our being. It's just us and motherfucking Israel who will not guarantee that food's a basic human right. Because starvation is our favorite tool of genocide disguised as sanctioned democratic healing. That's me in the corner, losing my religion, gouging out my eyes, and then dancing on the ceiling. And Jesus fucking Christ, what a feeling. And that's the oil baron rescue plan.
Who are these people?
So anyways, this is spoken word version of Biden's hairy leg off of the virus. It takes a strong woman and a voice without fear to speak up in the face of who we are this year. So if you see a strong woman, you should tell her that she's strong, because the strong don't get to speak for very long. We love to sing the praises of our First Amendment rights. We love to feign encouragement to truly speak your mind, tell you that your speech is free, go say what you like. But our speech isn't free. We pay for it in friends, and they're dropping like flies. They're disappearing right before our eyes. And every day, what Twitter calls free speech is being redefined, slowly shaped in Biden's image and the alt-right, gutless rape apologists and mothers who are quick to claim they want Trump out so badly that they'd offer Joe their child for a night. Christ, I tell myself that all of those are bots so I can function in my off time. I'm out here trying to raise a child, so I don't have the time or means to find out where these people live and go hold them to the fire till they swear that they can see the light. So you can keep the party. It is not where my allegiance lies. It's in defending every rape survivor scrutinized. It's in uplifting every voice they try to euthanize. Your leaders see you, honey, but they do not view with human eyes. Instead, they let us have our little space to bicker. Split up into factions where we're grouped by belief, and I bet you Twitter sits back and bets on which will eat itself quicker. Free speech is governed by an all-seeing eye and a silent listener who pulls the plug on anyone who dares to try and tell you that you're prisoners. Arbitrarily suspends a woman trying to defend herself from colonies of rape enablers flooding her DMs with trauma triggers. And then she's suspended. And they don't tell her why, but I think we understand. But let me get it straight for her assassin if he's listening, because he's such a simple man. You can call a woman a whore or a cunt or a slut or a bitch or make light of her rape or pretend like you know where she lives or go dig up a picture of her parents or her kids and there's zero repercussions. Isn't that how it stands? But somehow she gets banned? Well, in case you didn't look into the people that you silence, you seem to target those of us who fight to stem the tides of bitter vitriol from those intent on mocking rape survivors and belittling domestic violence. Well, Twitter ban me now before I find that fucking Chad and drag him out his filthy basement by his eyelids. Say, if you could see me, motherfucker, I am smiling. Speech is not free. It's a sliding scale based on how well you follow guidelines, how well you keep your mouth shut, how few waves you make at Epstein Island. Speech is not free. It's been hunted for a decade through the highlands, so that even when it's sleeping, it hears echoes of the dogs and the rattle of its shackles and its chains, and the dream always starts when it trips on a root and ends a millisecond shy of when the dog bites in. And it wakes up to find that another brilliant mind got silenced in the night for speaking truth about Joe fucking Biden. And I have never felt a gut punch that hit so physical from losing someone only in the medium provided.
But if she hears this, I hope that she can feel like she owns this song, even though I'll write it. You were gone in a flash, but you left enough gas for us to burn and fight another year, and we will fucking fight it. Do you hear me, Twitter? We will fight it. It's called holding to your standards, motherfucker. You should try it. I hope tonight you're lying in the dark, wide awake, and the sound of you kneecapping free speech splits the quiet. It's ironic that you call yourself support when what you do is disproportionately silencing survivors. So maybe drop support and call yourselves defilers. Call yourselves defenders of a bunch of corporate interests who suppressed our right to speak amid a global crisis. Then ask yourselves if you've been on the same side as the virus. Your kind have been a thorn in our side since the days of Osiris. And I knew you in some form then, back when I penned your lyrics on papyrus. Now here we are again, and by Twitter's scale of dangerous subversion, I would like to think I'm high risk. But ultimately, Twitter gets to pick and choose the flavor of your global news and leave you in the litter of 100 different Biden bots with all the same worldview who will constantly barrage you with filth until you're clawing out your iris. So this might just be the last song before I'm silent. And if it's Bon Voyage, tell my mom and my son I was a kamikaze pilot. And that's Biden's hairy leg.
Who are these people?
This is probably my favorite Elvis Costello song. This is called Watching the Detectives.
Nice girls not one with the defects, cellophane string wrap so correct. Lapdogs under a legal lax. She looks so good that he gets down and backs. She's watching the detectives. Oh, he's so cute. She is watching the detectives. Oh, and they suit. They beat him up until the teardrops die. But he can't be wounded cause he got no heart. Shivers running down my spine. Cut to baby taking off her clothes. Close up at the sign that said we never close. You snatch your chew and you match your cigarette. She pulls her eyes out with a face like a magnet. I don't know how much more of this I can take. She looks for days like they're dragging that lane. She's watching the detectives. Oh, he's so cute. She is watching the detectives. Oh, and they suit. They beat him up until the teardrops start. But he can't be wounded cause he got no heart. You think you're alone until you realize you're in it now. Fear is here to stay and love is here for a visit. They call it instant justice when it's past the legal limit. So it's scratching at the window now. I wonder who is it? The detective from detective. You belong to the parents who are ready to hear the worst about their daughter's disappearance. We nearly took a miracle to get you to stay, but only took my little fingers to blow you away. Watching the detectives don't get cute, just like watching the detectives. Oh, watching the detectives. Oh, watching the detectives. He gets so angry when the teardrops start, but he can't be wounded cause he got no heart. fire.
I love that song.
Who are these people?
All right. This is called Better the Censored, you know.
Radio station just censored the word devil. Clearly, we are on a different level. I guess you wouldn't notice all the rolling boulders crashing past your shoulders when you're taught to shift your focus lower, scream at all the pebbles, cheering on the bombers because you can't abide the rebels. But I bet you'll wring your bloody hands when all the dust is settled, when the last little limb is pulled from Gaza's twisted metal. Then you can say how you were led astray, and never once in all your days would you have knowingly supported all the genocide for which you clapped and prayed, but they baited you with unconfirmed blurbs about babies until you were filled with rage. Yet someone told you babies had been starving, bombed, and caged for nearly 60 years in Gaza, and you looked the other way. So regret, but make it fashion. Go and pluck the final petal off a hyacinth on Instagram for every kid they kettled. Every son that Israel imprisoned when they're little, that they tortured for a decade, then surprised with their acquittal. And when they got released and saw their parents and whatever siblings hadn't met the missiles, they stared right through their middle. Their eyes don't seem to focus, and their words are all but dribble, like they're pondering the darkest riddle. That is, how many false flags does it take to make humanity inhuman and uncivil, distorted by the revel? The crooked slant where Israel contorts into America, Biden bathing Bibi in a bloodbath in the bevel. I opened up my feed and I saw children disassembled. Turned some music on and heard the station censor devil. Imagine thinking Doja Cat's a threat to moral fabric in the single largest terror cell that ever felled a temple, that ever sparked a cleansing, that ever burned a market, that ever raped with bayonets or carpet-bombed apartments, that ever turned your water off and left you in the darkness, left you doing surgery on children while they're conscious. You sing the devil's praises every time you sing our anthem. You sing a hymn to him that watched us birth a million phantoms. You'll proudly wave his flag, and yet you will not name the devil. Well, clearly, we are on a different level. I can give you names, shit, I'll give you several. They say the devil wears a different face for every general, like a composite of the char we brought to fields of emerald, and the wail of every childhood we made ephemeral. So who else has left the stain of blood on everything they touch? Who else can starve civilians and they don't so much as blush? Who else has paid for Gaza being flattened into dust? If there's ever been a devil on this earth, then it is us. That's U.S. What an ugly couple letters. Feeding shit and ignorance to those it chose to tether. From the river to the sea, both are slowly growing redder, for the devil that you know just knows you better. It knows every gut reaction it could ever make you feel. It knows fear is that which wakes you up and gets you on your wheel. It knows just the kind of story that will justify its war, and the scripts are wrapped for World War IV. So just imagine my surprise to give the radio a listen and to hear such pious morals out of Zionists and Christians that they'd take the devil's name and try to clip it from existence while they carry out his bloody business. You would wave a fascist flag, and yet you honor not your Iblis? Name you not Apollyon? Hush you now your witness? Bleed the name of Belial till tongue is rolling listless in the man-made mouth of Mammon as Lemia's whisper listens. When carts are wheeling bodies through the cities that we crushed, and the very air is rotten with decay of all that was, who else would censor devil yet behave as Legion does? If there's ever been a devil on this earth, then it is us. U.S., but not a unity of souls. More a mass of corporations turning houses into holes, turning people into puppets, turning puppets into mold, turning mold into nutrition bars worth their weight in gold because they're bombing every bakery and burning every field with phosphorus that never once has wanted for a meal. The devil wears a mask and it delights in the reveal, in that moment where the face is let to peel. We do not love the underdog. We do not cheer the rebels. We lust for all their blood until the dust has finally settled, then pity just ourselves that we were so misled to revel. proudly wave his flag, and yet we will not name the devil.
Who are these people?
They won't let you go, let you leave, send you home. Wait, please say you know that what you need is what you owe, and they won't let you go, set you free, send you home. 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 I was close enough to smell the fire. Jesus took the wheel and then he kicked me off the ride. I was busy shouting at myself from in the crowd, about to throw down and drag myself outside. I had to give myself the business. If I show myself forgiveness, it goes right between the eyes. Was looking past my shoulder, never focused on the prize. I saw myself, turned and ran, stalked myself through burning sands, the better part of 40 nights. Found myself staring in the mirror, yelling, go into the light. I was in the rear view, staring at the highway, horrified. I was in the road ahead, arms wide, ready to be mummified. Gonna be the fella yelling how he's sick of always betting on his life. I'll also be the guy that brought the dice. Got half a dozen chambers and I keep an empty 5. Only needed one to break the ice. Only needed one to clear my mind. Only needed one to stop time. Only needed one to stop time. They won't let you go, set you free, send you home. Wait, please say you know what you need is what you owed, and they won't let you go, set you free, send you home. 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 I'll be the guy that brought the dice.
And that's home. What you owed.
Who are these people?
So yeah, here we go. This is Dust Better Days.
SWAT team took your neighbor today. Watched him as they walked him away. You told yourself extremists come in all different shapes. Watched them dance and lowered your gaze. But is it too late for us to ever change? Once we're collecting the dust of better days, they're always watching us, but we're never safe. We're not meant to be safe, not meant to escape. We aren't meant to wake. Sheriff, stop your daughter today. Pepper sprayed her twice in the face. He must have had good reason if he'd treat her that way. At least that's what they taught you to say. Is it too late for us to ever change? Once we're collecting the dust of better days, they're always watching us, but we're never safe. We're not meant to feel safe, not meant to escape. We aren't meant to wake. Feds arrived and had you detained. Said you'd made some posts, they weren't changed. Tased you till you felt like you'd forgotten your name, or life before they had you contained. Oh, life before they had you contained. SWAT team took your neighbor today.
And that's a dust of better days.
Who are these people?
All right, here we go.
It's just single.
Maybe that's how it goes. We won't open our eyes, so we're the last ones to know. We're the last ones alive. Kept our enemies close. Wondered why we don't thrive while we're grasping at ghosts, counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards from 5.
Count back from 5. The theater on fire, the cast on strike. The studio stock starts taking a dive. The contract's tossed and they're gone with the tide. The heads and execs, their hands are tied. We can't pump this dreck and treat you right. But what do you expect from the industry type who survive by the leeching of bodies and minds? From those who original thoughts never seem to find. So they're gonna reboot ALF before your wages rise. And it gives cause to pause and reflect on the times. If they're losing control of their fools and their mimes, when all those obedient actors who grew their careers by averting their eyes are now holding the line, along with the authors of countless scripts that strengthen the hand of that corporate grip, squeezing our throats till we take the pen and we accept and consent to the corporate drip. Till you're all up to date on your pharma du jour, till you got a healthy support for the war on your lips. And now you know that the advertisers need more than a rerun summer full of flashback clips. Enter the scans from the year before, all the days of de-aging and mapping the face, and the hours of actors recording their voices are links in the chains that will bind them in place. Now all of those shows are so easy to make. When they got a drone they control that needs no brake, it can bend, it can break, and it's cheaply replaced enough up-to-date films all in one take. And those studios bank on us doing our duty, unhinging our jaws and digesting the fakes, because they know that we'll love how synthetic it tastes. Watch as they edit your features without any trace. Not that there's anything you could do anyway. Now watch as they show you a movie you saying shit you would never say. Dystopia boldly accelerates. Maybe you're only a mold, something to fill with a clone, something that Elon would celebrate. Something they own, something they program and code, something that's woefully able to know it's exanimate. Cause it doesn't feel touch over top of the laminate. You will not feel an emotion, but they will not scan and examine it. You and the other consumer contaminants fed on the federal diet of Kiev, Havana, and Tiananmen. I can't be the only one weighing the pros of abandonment. I can't be the only one weighing the pros of abandonment. Where did you think we'd go? Love, there's nowhere to lie. Guess it's not who you know, more it's what you can hide. Like we're chained to the floor, they're streaming us live while we're watching the war, counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards.
Who are these people?
I'm going to mute my mic. You should probably do the same, Jess.
Carved upon a marble altar, somewhere in a lab, are runes that match an amulet upon an onyx slab. Doctor in a white coat, guards in olive drab. Kissinger unconscious, but as Providence would have, when the doctor stands beside him and he holds out the medallion, unconsciously, instinctively, he reaches up and grabs. Deep inside a black site that is right beneath our streets, the sacrifice was made by which they demonized our speech. The roots that fed the tree of life decayed beneath our feet, and its sap was a suspension for a small medallion piece. As the doctor starts to sway a bit, he takes the vial and places it inside of Cheney's heart that it might never cease to beat. And I wish it wasn't so, but no, the final piece to mention is the one that fueled our overlord's unholiest ascension, to afford him zero comment on the char and the distension on the bodies in Lahaina, or that growing sickly stench of every Blackrock vulture gathered for what Biden paid as rent on the medallion shard they gave him on the eve of the convention. He had seen its strength extend the life of all his favorite vermin, and the peace that he inherited had come from Father Thurmond, another artifact he had been gifted by the Germans to see one's will made manifest, one's destiny determined. A note attached read, "All our best, Werner, Fritz, and Herman. May you marinate in Wehrmacht that ferments behind the curtains." Now here we are today, and Biden keeps it on his person, if Biden's what you'd even call a person. And the curse is something ancient. It is raw abortifacient that they shoveled down the throats of those who built and birthed a nation. It is fused into those corpses, funding war on all occasions, and it's all that's kept McConnell from a state of vegetation. It is carried by the Senate doctors, whispered by the nurses. It's a perk to keep you perky for your centuries of service. It's the concentrated evil that's been powering our purges and coaxing every coup along, the dogs and drones and dirges. The nations we have raped because they would not consent to purchase. It pries our leaders' eyes awake and drives our country's urges to the darkest point where human hope and human truth converges. So look in Biden's eyes and see the rush on which he surges is the same that lit the flame that burned your churches. And those flames have had their day to see the vessels burned away, but the medallion, unscathed, always emerges. For as election season licks its lips and smells its purpose, there at once appears a motorcade of hearses. The calling of the pit like a liturgical insurgent, skinning off a sermon from the verses. He clutches a medallion of which he is just a servant, falling down a path with no divergence. Now some people wonder loudly just how low a man can go. Well, somewhere in a lab they've logged effects of pure immersion. How long can someone lay upon that ancient onyx slab before rising up a wholly different person? How blackened can one be within the ink of human greed before their voters start to see a different version? How corrupted from within before you see it in their skin? How blighted till it rises to the surface? Till it bleeds into your eye, or you stand from time to time staring off into the press like they were comets in the skies. How long until your arteries start clogging up with flies? How long till child labor phantoms haunt you in the night? How long has the medallion been deciding who survives? How long till it demands a higher price?
And there you have it.
Live.
Hi, everybody.
We're on Jesse delay. We'll see what's up with that. He's got some
We are.
wonky internet issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear myself a little bit in an echo in his earphones, which is weird. I don't kind of get why.
Sound went out? No, they're not getting sound.
Okay,
That's
good.
cool.
All right. So, yeah, this American tradition. Hi, everybody. Natalie's here. You got no sound either at all? What you mean? Oh, no, he's talking about earlier. Maybe.
Oh, okay. I'm hoping so.
I'm hoping so, because, yeah, I hear Jesse. Do you hear Jesse?
Do you hear Jesse? That's the question.
Are we certain we are live? Yes, Fred Edwards.
Does anybody really know what time it is?
Okay. Vicky saying yes, we see and hear us, yes, we're good.
You see and hear
okay.
me. Do my life experiences matter?
Holly freaking Luya. Okay, so yes, American tradition. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Yes,
Hi, everybody.
it's Jesse. It's Indy. We have a new fund up because Jesse is on the computer that you all helped purchase for him. Yay! Thank you, everybody.
It's amazing. Seriously, I can't even tell you. Like, yeah. I turned on the computer And I'm still so used to like, oh shit, I need to get down at least 20 minutes before I need to be live to give the computer time to start up and get running. And I press the button and it's just like, it's on and you can start doing stuff with it. I'm like, holy shit, it's like a real computer. This is insane.
More volume from Jesse still, or
I can do that.
Okay. I have a little bit of ability to do that too. Okay.
All right, I boosted my gain. I turned my headphone volume down, Indy, so you shouldn't be getting any echo anymore.
Oh, good. That's much better. Thank you.
I got you way down.
Okie doke. All right. Nice camera also. Yes, Tin Rabbit. That's built in. And at some point, we may even hook up the face cam, because I know the face cam is even, I think, may even be clearer than that. It's Indy time.
And the next step will be running guitar and mic directly into everything, which
yeah, we were
still
working
a work
on
in
that.
progress.
We were working.
We got
on
the
that
mic.
last night.
We're just getting guitar through. So
yeah. So tonight we are going to be covering the Grift Home Companion, which, as Jesse likes to say, is kind of like the forgotten album in a way. You know, the Grift got a lot of play. You know, because it has like 6 killer tracks on it at least that have been played out like a lot. But Home Companion was released at the same time, but I think in general the musical stuff tends to overshadow the spoken word. So
for sure,
when you put both out simultaneously, what are you going to do?
Yep. Now there are a few pieces from Home Companion that certainly saw a lot of mileage. Hello Somebody and Shepherd of Hopes probably being the 2 biggest.
Yep.
But then Half Dollar that closes it out is in my top 5 favorite spoken word pieces I've ever written for sure.
Yeah.
So
I love that piece too. And we played that a couple times on the Friday night show.
Some other little gems like Obit, I think I've only read a couple times. Met Gala Airstrike, of course, Communism Taylor's version. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited to do this one. So.
We've got a 2-year retrospective. I can't believe it's been more than 2 years since this. It's pretty crazy.
Just over.
And Fuck Me Where'd My Apes Go is where we start on this album, which is great. And I think you've done that once before on the show, maybe?
I think so. Yeah, I want to say I did.
But tonight's going to be all spoken word because the album's all spoken word. So for those who don't know, that's why we're doing that.
This will be fun. All right, let's get chat back popping. Oh, we got Colin in the house.
Care Bear's here. Did we see
the
Care
other
Bear?
computer
I've not seen Care Bear. Oh, there he is. Yes. How old was it?
Very old. The other computer, gosh, I mean, it was a backup hand-me-down from my father-in-law, who was like, oh, I have an extra laptop if you guys need one. And it's, it's at least 10 years old. It's,
wow.
It's one of those, you got to let your hamsters get running to get everything powered up and get your internet moving. So.
That had like an 8 gig hard drive, right? Or like a tiny thing that you're constantly clearing out because it's filling up all the time. Yep. So yeah, the Home Companion has how many? 9 tracks also. Yep, 9, just like like the album, just like the Grift album. And again, this was 2022. The only difference between that and the other album is this little symbol that you see there.
The little stamp. Which, looking back, I should have just had it be like a double album, but I really wanted it to be. Once I came up with Home Companion, I was like, I want to do that. I want to have the Grift Home Companion. Was too good not to have as a title, but I do feel like it would have been nice to have it all lumped together, but maybe not. Maybe it would have been less digestible for people. And I've said before, some of my favorite albums ever. From some of my favorite artists are some of the odd man out in the discography, like Bazooka Tooth by Aesop Rock or Eating Us by Black Moth Super Rainbow. It's one of those I love, and then I talk to other fans of the band like, oh, I fucking hate that record, like universally. one of my favorite Yes records is Drama. I'll put it that way. So I love the Stepchild. So it would make sense that this record is that for me, like consistently in my Bandcamp plays. This is usually bottom of the heap by a good bit, which just makes me love it all the more. So yeah, I was excited when we did Grift. I was like, obviously we can't get oh wait, did the stream freeze?
No.
Oh shit.
I'm not frozen. We're here.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Just keep rolling, because unless I say so, we're good.
Okay. Okay, sorry, I got scared there for a second. I was like, oh no, not tonight. We weren't going to be able to cram both records into one stream. That would have just been ludicrous. But I couldn't do Grift and not do this album. So hope you guys are down for a night of spoken word. But I'm excited because there's some of these, like Indy said, I've only read maybe once on the show. And a lot of them were kind of pre-Black Site. And I really do feel like now I kind of try to read everything through that lens. Or that's just how I'm reading everything now. I don't know which it is, whether it's conscious or whether that's just how delivery is now. That
I just can't wait for the new equipment, like to hear it with the better. You didn't necessarily record it with a Yeti and a new PC.
Yep.
So I'm just looking forward to hearing that hopefully increased quality there, and then even better when we can get it through the mixer.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well.
So yeah, again, one more time, like I cannot thank everyone that contributed, and Indy for making this happen. Reef too for scouting out computers when the time was right, finding the equipment. I just, in like 2019, I would not have believed that 5 years down the road, I would have friends and support like I do, especially for making this kind of music. It means the world to me. So I can't thank you guys enough. I love you.
I love you too, man. Yeah. And Angel, after we get this Indie Media Award heads thing done, I think PC and a new laptop for Angel might be next on the agenda. We're gonna take a look at the list, but I think that seems to be glaring as somebody who's doing 2 shows a week on the channel. A man needs to have better stuff.
Angel puts in some work, man.
Dude, he sure does.
Dude is clocking hours.
So proud, man, and just happy that he's doing it and growing, and he's here in chat.
That's awesome.
So everybody follow Angel if you're not already. Go subscribe to all his channels. Follow him on Twitter. He's doing the wrestling show Saturday nights, and he's doing Angel in the afternoon. He did a surprise one tonight talking about Maduro and killer dude. He's got it going. So. I am ready to listen to "Fuck Me, Where'd My Apes Go."
All right.
Unless you are.
This was I loved this piece. I'm sure you guys remember the NFT fiasco when all that started taking hold. The couple infamous posts of the guys getting their NFTs stolen, and the one being, all my apes gone. Someone stole my apes. And around that same time, there was an incident in Virginia, maybe, where a truck crashed that was carrying primates for either to or from a research lab. And the vehicle crashed. Some of the apes got out. And a woman driving by decided to try to stop and help, and one of them bit her, and then she had to be hospitalized and quarantined for a week, and it was this whole shit show. And when that happened, it was just too perfect, the intersection of that and the NFTs, and I just wanted to do something that referenced both of those, both of the missing apes, and sometimes a title happens first, and then it's like, okay, now I've got to make, as soon as I come up with a title, I have to actually write that piece and make it a reality, whether that's an album title like War Crime Jams to Pork 2, or whether it's a song title like Lockheed Martin OnlyFans. And I'm like, I will make this a reality. Fuck Me, Where'd My Apes Go was without a doubt one of those.
I love Lockheed Martin OnlyFans.
And that's anything that I can use that as my screen name for. Obviously, that's my username on Instagram. Any like online game. I play the Elder Scrolls card game, and I'm Lockheed Martin OnlyFans on there. If you're ever hunting for me. So another thing that inspired this piece was the frequent quizzes that you see, or just kind of engagement bait posts of people that's like, name this the last thing you ate. Or your porn star name is the street you grew up on and your first pet's name. Which now we know those are just farming information that you would use for security questions.
Exactly. They're just identity thieving questions. Here you go. Have a good time.
Which I gotta say, like, goddamn, that's brilliant. It's really malicious, but
look,
fuck, that's brilliant.
If you're going to steal my shit, at least entertain me while you're doing it, I guess. I mean, it's better than just emptying my bank account, sort of. Maybe.
Oh, nah. Real quick. I got a phone call the other night, and I usually don't even answer telemarketers, but this was a regional number. It was local enough. I was like, I'll give it a shot. I was like, hi, this is a paid political engagement survey. Do you have 2 minutes for a political survey? I was like, yeah, I sure do. And he was like, I'm going to run down a list of politicians.
Oh.
And I want you to tell me whether you view them favorably or unfavorably. I was so excited. We were in the pet store and we're getting some water filters and looking at some of the cats there. And all of a sudden I turned to Jess. I'm like, I'm just going to be 1 second. And I step away. And I'm just standing in the middle of the store going, unfavorable. 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 Yeah, I'm going to have to say unfavorable. Yeah, that's going to be a big unfavorable for me. Down the whole list. And then he's like, if the presidential elections were tomorrow, would you vote for either of these candidates? Donald Trump. I was like, nope. He's like, Joe Biden. I'm like, nope. He's like, Kamala Harris. I'm like, nope. And he's like, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And I said, nope. He's like, other? I said, maybe not. Sure, other's fine.
Sure, write down other. Uh-huh.
And he said, is there a reason why? And I said, yeah, I no longer support the two-party system. He goes, okay, as a voter, what's your biggest issue right now? I said, Palestine. And he goes, in your opinion, what's the biggest issue facing Michigan? And I said, homelessness. And he goes, okay, thank you so much for your time. I was like, no, man, thank you. This has been a treat.
Oh, I wish I was in your boss's office this
pull
afternoon.
out my big bag of unfavorables for you here and start just doling them out like Oprah.
You get an unfavorable, and you get an unfavorable. Hell yeah.
I was just like glitching in the middle of the pet store, like unfavorable, like 20 times in a row.
I hope Fox was there to hear all that.
So sad. Oh yeah, it was so satisfying.
Oh, it's so good.
I was like, hey, can we do this again next week? You want to call again later?
I'll help you make your quota.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I've never been to therapy, but I can't imagine it being more cathartic than that one. It's like, for real.
Oh. That's great.
All right. Well, I think we already. Yeah, that was one of those moments you were like, I am basically signing my name on the watch list right now. Here's my number. Here's everything. I will say my doctor had a doctor's appointment yesterday. Haven't seen her since January. She clocked the Palestine tattoo the moment she walked in. Like, immediately noticed new tattoo and then asked me about it maybe 30 seconds into the view. She was super cool about it. She was like, it's so horrible what's going on. And I was like, you're right. It is. Good for you. Thank you. It would have sucked if she was like, I don't feel comfortable having you as a patient, sir. Because that would be possible, you know.
Well,
but no, she was super. I gotta say, this doctor a little cavalier, but she is super down to earth. Like I was talking about some of the stuff I've tried to cut out and lost some weight. And I was like, you know, it's hard because even when you have a cheat day, it's like having a cheat day with heroin. Like you go back and all of a sudden you're like, oh, Taco Bell. I remember how great you are. And my doctor goes, oh man, Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell. I was like, you're not supposed to say that. And she goes, well, every time I get like an intern that comes through, some of them have never had it. I take them to get it right away.
Oh my God.
You are a pusher.
That's a doctor, folks. That is a doctor.
Oh, it was so great. Yep.
Sign me up.
Like, good for you.
Holy shit, that's funny.
What's funny is one of her specialties is weight loss. She specializes in weight loss.
Well, all in moderation, right? Isn't that their thing?
Yep.
Oh. Too much.
All right. So,
all right, let's get this up here.
Without further ado.
Oh,
see, there we go. We killed 20 minutes because the record itself is only like 35 minutes or something.
Yeah, and we and I killed that screen. I don't know why. Something happened there. So let's just go to this one. That's good, sorta. That'll work. While I figure out the other one.
Okay. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with the quiz format to determine what your porn star name is in this poem. See, it's cool. My doctor doesn't know I was down like 25 pounds and then I gained like 10 of those back. She was just like, hey, you're down 15 pounds from your last visit. Good job. I'm like, yeah, I sure am. Isn't that cool? We're not going to talk about all the struggle behind the scenes. But yes, I am. And yes, Dr. Nick, you know, so I did, for a while there, one of the things I straight up gave up was alcohol as a whole. I've reintroduced beer, but I'm still not getting on the whiskey bourbon, which was my former love. Just hard liquor does not do well in my body. But this summer, I have to admit, I used to love Corona, but I've really found myself to be quite the Modelo guy lately. So tonight's non-consensual sponsor is Modelo, especially these little guys because they're just adorable.
Yes, they're non-consensual. They're not paying us for this.
They don't want anything to do with us, believe me.
Another hit off the apple. So
okay,
you ready?
Sorry,
go?
you were gonna say something?
No, I was gonna lead into what we were doing with the cartoon stuff, but if you're going and you're just hitting the apple, let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do it.
But
actually, you can plug that real quick. I have to set this up because my display keeps turning off, and that's gonna fucking kill me.
Oh, okay. Well, so today, actually Sunday night, we recorded on How Do We Miss That, a segment about the independent art that the Zagel Brothers does, and they made this poster that everyone seems to have an opinion on one way or another. It's hilarious. And I reached out to them and I was like, you know, it'd be really cool if we could get some of these made for the Indie Media Award honorees, because there's a lot of people that aren't on here that would be cool, and then we can do something cool for the people that are in that. And what's even cooler is everyone else can also then download these and use them for whatever. We're talking about ways to potentially get artwork made of individual prints, or where you can make your own collage of what you want.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we've talked about it. I don't know if that, you know, how easy or difficult that might be for him to do, or for me to do, once we have all the individuals done. And it's going to take a couple of months for him to do all of them. There's like close to 100. But because of that, and because his team, you know, because it's going to take him a while, and his artwork and his time is certainly worth quite a bit, he's willing to discount his time. But he, you know, we kind of worked out a deal, and I said, well, we'll certainly ask the audience and everyone to kind of help out with that, and whatever we can raise in the next couple of months, we'll raise, and then we'll go from there. And maybe he'll sell prints off of it. He sells a print of this on his website for $25 plus $10 UPS shipping in the US. So you can, by all means, check that out. Go to Zago, I think it's just Zago.com or LucioZago.com, at Zago Brothers on Twitter. All right, and again, he'll be working over the next couple of months. And he even put up a couple of videos on his Twitter page of him like making the prints, and you can see he shared this. Yeah, very cool stuff. I mean, he's a good dude. He lives in the Philly area, and he watches independent media, which is so kick ass. Like, and how cool to have a talent like this, and want to contribute and support, and we can all help each other out. It's like so cool. So that's what the Ko-fi QR code is going to go towards, and that's why we're going to leave it up there. And we're going to continue to support independent media, support independent art as well. And now I'm ready to start the Grift Home Companion.
All right, here we go. Track 1. Fuck me, where'd my apes go? Started up in safe mode. Feels like another day if you say so. Same sights, same smell, same payload. Bright and early, home sweet CAFO. Another day where your employer just cannot resist reminding you they need you like a payphone. That you're the lowest labor cost that ever crossed the payroll. So medicate yourself defeating Dayglow. Scroll a dozen other lives and take notes. Take a load off, take a quiz or two. Fuck it, stay home. Your porn star name is the last thing you ate in your ATM code. Mine is a sigil, eternally vigil, the shape of a ward to preserve us and aid in our darkest of days, the ages of Bezos. When Applebee's sweetens the pot on your 5th round booster shot with a free small queso. Another day where you wager it all on a game called Fuck Me, Where'd My Apes Go? Where they right-click saved or lost in the woods on the way to a lab and a lifetime of product testing for Procter & Gamble. And while I don't mean to ramble, I'm barely disturbing the surface of what you could call the preamble. Prepping the table where all of the rich will be seasoned and split, their legacies stripped, and the towers from which they would pelt us with shit will be toppled and trampled. Drug through the mud to the bramble, all pleas ignored, and the screams all cleared for samples. And flipped to the rallying cry of a turning of tides, a working class you forged and you galvanized through a lifetime of beating them flat on the anvil. And I'm just one man, but I'll do what I can from my circle of candles. A synchronized laying of hands on the handles of studio doors where mass media vandals all butcher the truth to contort into angles that groom you into the most useful of fools that you practically drool to see Raytheon marking a nation it seeks to dismantle. Your porn star name is the day you last ate and the word that first pops in your brain when describing the taste of police boots and Bezos' sandals. And it can be the brand new code word for anything you don't want heard because you're trying to keep your YouTube channel. So go touch grass, baby. Shout it from the rooftops. Carve it on the trunk of the tree of manna. The revolution won't be televised, but it will be felt in every soul like they're electrified by the power struggle rippling to life like a working class arcana. Load up every cannon, we will firebomb the history books and decimate the annals. Write in bold, unerring word, the peasants won the battle. Get it through your talking heads. Tell them that we canceled all their panels. Tell them that they'll have to find some honest work. There no longer lives the kind of power they were here to serve. We'll no longer give up half an hour every night so we can placidly acknowledge things are getting worse. Then bury our intentions in the sand, antenna first. We'll no longer feed our children raw into the Senate's maw and all to slake the market's thirst. We'll no longer be their hapless tributes for the darkest curse, all to feed a power that was summoned up by Bilderberg. Oh, wait a sec, my heart just got a bit excited. Or a clot dislodged or burst. I'm not sure if that would be the best case scenario, but truth be told, it's not the worst. Your porn star name can be honest or exotic or mundane, or it can be the brand name stitched on the velvet inner lining of a donor's purse. They'll trade you just the same, honey. Profit is the dice and the pieces and the prize and the name of the game. Christ, money is the motor nerve. And they don't really need yours. Everybody knows they got their own
Who are
reserves.
these people?
It is not about money. It's also they can feel a little power surge. When they see their machinations on display, their silence fades. They want to shout it bright as day that they end lives and they break ground just to proudly say they shape a global future they've trilaterally deemed essential, equitable, pure, and business sound. It's all so they can feel a little power surge. Shit, I bet they laughed and jerked it when the towers burned. Your porn star name adorns a very shallow grave, but your one true name will be clear 1,000 years from now when this is just a town of ferns. When all the apes are gone and the overgrowth is blooming off of every surface, filling every view no matter how you turn. Lush and ever gentle while admonishing a creature that just never learns. Your name is an evergreen echo in a town of ferns. And you don't have a phone to check, just healthy breaths and rolling crests of verdant surf. Immerse yourself and drown the urge in patient earth. When all the apes are gone, there's only us to purge. Your name is that which never learns. And that's fuck me, where'd my apes go?
Yeah, it is. Solid, dude.
Brought to you by Modelo. Cerveza Especial.
Oh no, dude, you're gonna get us popped. No, not really, but you know they're gonna put like a sponsor thing
That's true.
on the bottom of it somewhere. Like this is a sponsored
forgot.
post or whatever.
I forgot that I already got us in trouble.
Oh, dude.
What was it? The cover last week, the Replacements song I did, apparently was too good, just too close to the real thing. And we got hit with the copyright, like can't monetize. But you know, it was cool. It said that they can if they want to. And I'm like, all right, giving one back to the Replacements. Look at me giving back.
Right? Well, isn't that nice of you? How kind of Jesse. Where's the thing there?
Shepherd of
where are
Hopes.
we?
Which, can I just say
Yummy,
for a minute,
yummy.
it's so funny to see people, some who are closer to the controlled opposition side, like Dr. Dooley, and some who should know better, still being like, man, if only Bernie would throw his head in the ring right now. Am I right? Like,
Oh my God!
are
yes.
you fucking serious?
Like no?
People, it's really scary to me how short our attention spans are. Like talking to people that are like, oh, well, you got to vote for Kamala because otherwise women's reproductive rights. Like, yo, not only who was in charge when shit fell through, but who promised that they would do something right away? Not just him, but fucking Obama too. Like, that is the carrot they will eternally dangle over your heads. They will never give you that because then they've just lost their biggest piece of leverage to get you to keep voting blue. It's
Yes.
sometimes,
None of the above.
you know, my frosted side is like, people are being lied to. People are being bamboozled. But then my whole wheat side is like, if y'all motherfuckers haven't caught on yet and you're still seriously letting yourself run through the same script and same trick every couple years and forget the year before, like, I don't know. Some days I'm like, we deserve it. we deserve being dog walked like this if we can't like think for ourselves. But it's amazing just trying to do that. Just trying to apply a little critical thinking to a situation gets you dogpiled by people. People are just so, so hostile to anyone that even wants to try to peek behind the curtain a little bit. Like, God forbid you interrupt, you know, I've never felt such pushback from people for trying to wake them up at all. It's amazing.
The ones that are now on board Team Kamala, man, just I can't believe they really exist.
There's a house near me that has the whole, like, they've got the entire starter pack of Lincoln Project kind of yard signs. They have the, in this house, we believe, water is life, love is love, nobody is an immigrant, and blah, blah, blah. And they had a Biden-Harris sign, right? I drove past tonight, they just cut off the Biden off the top, so it's just a Harris, a little short Harris.
Well, they're waiting for the next. They're just waiting for the next yard sign. Is the thing. They haven't named the VP under her yet, so they have to have some. Dude, yes. Are you two white men for Kamala? Well, you know, Sean King.
I got one of those texts. I got this is white guys for Kamala.
Sean King was on.
I was like,
Sean
that's
King
racist,
was on the
sir.
call last night. So I mean, yeah. See, Jesse was invited. I did not get that invite. They don't want me at White Guys
So
for
funny.
Kamala.
I know, he's like, white guys for Kamala here. Can we count on you to phone bank? I was like, that's racist. Please stop contacting me.
The New York cover with her sitting on top of the coconut is just holy shit. If you haven't seen that yet.
No, I have. I thought it was supposed to be abolished. I literally thought it was supposed to be like a dung beetle joke. I was like, why are they doing that? But then I remember the coconut thing.
Yeah, you think you just fell out of a coconut tree? Like what? No. Like, and
there's a great. I might try to sample it. So maybe I shouldn't say what it is. But there's this artist. His name is Lancelot Lane, and he was an artist in Trinidad in the late 70s. Who did this music style that was kind of early rap coming off of Calypso. Very interesting, just like fast spoken passages. But there's a lot of political and activist kind of elements in his music. It's really, really good. One of his songs opens up with this little piano flourish, and he says, "We tend to support the very things that are against us, even when we know it." And then the song starts. And I'm like, damn, that's like 50 years ago. And that's still true as shit. We tend to support the very things that are against us, even when we know it. Which brings us to Bernie fucking Sanders.
especially when we know it. But
Bernie fucking rat dick Sanders.
we lost a dude. Yeah, Jeff Bridges, I heard, was out there simping for Kamala. Look, they just made Hollywood
What?
get in line. Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant he died.
No.
So he died the worst death.
No, he died a worse death. Yeah, no, he had the simp for Cam. I mean, just what?
R.I.P.
Woo. R.I.P.
I know
integrity.
Megan the Stallion too. That hurt. Like, oh gosh.
Yeah,
Which I gotta say, for those who haven't seen the clip of Dave Matthews being interviewed by Al Jazeera in D.C. Protesting Netanyahu, Dave Matthews fucking lays it down.
Yes.
It's got some really, really solid politics, always has, and he says it very succinctly in a way that most Americans should be able to get and be like, oh yeah, you're right. No, these are a whole bunch of war crimes. Why are we celebrating this dude and letting him come to Congress? So huge props to Dave Matthews, because like, it's sad that we need celebrities to do that, so people can go, oh wait, I like that guy, I listen to what he says. But that's exactly what we need. Unfortunately, we need a whole bunch of celebrities, and it's really sad that it would take a handful. It really would. People give so much so much weight and validity to Taylor Swift, but it's true, if Taylor Swift and like fucking Chris Pratt and Beyonce were like, hey, what's going on in Gaza is an atrocity and like the worst shit humanity's ever seen. We've got to stop this now. Don't keep supporting Israel. Like it would be amazing, the change that could bring. It would only take so little.
Macklemore did a little thing and it blew up because of it. You know.
Yep. You are not allowed.
Thing.
You're not allowed to step out, man. You're really not.
But this side by side from Siraj, I could not help but not bring. It's too good. Her sitting on the coconut, and then Randy Marsh, of course, sitting on his giant mountain of shit. Because
but yeah, big Big shout out to Dave Matthews.
We're all
A
sitting,
little
we're all sitting,
baby,
we're all sitting on a giant.
up my head and let me out.
Nice. We're all sitting on a giant mountain of shit here, so
Sorry.
that's right. It's all a fucking clown show. That's right. So,
I used to scare people at work by popping up. We'd either do like different musicians. We'd either James Hetfield, I'm just go, ooh, right behind him. Or you do a Dave Matthews and go, she wakes up in the morning, like right behind someone.
anyway, Jesse. Yes, that's funny.
There is a
Great.
Venn diagram of nonsensical Dave Matthews sounds and the nonsensical onomatopoeic, what's that asshole from Red Hot Chili Peppers, Anthony Kiedis. And it's funny because I enjoy Dave Matthews and I can't stand Chili Peppers, but there is an intersection there I don't like to acknowledge. But it exists, you know? It exists.
Yeah. Orca liked the cover a little baby. Yeah. All right. Now, so Frank Zappa once said that politics is the entertainment division of the military-industrial complex. So you're not so far off, Care Bear, right there.
And what's funny is Frank Zappa's parents have some very interesting ties that are fairly unfortunate. But no, I mean, gosh, Frank Zappa was one of the first people I ever heard talk about, you know, global events so matter-of-factly, but in a way that other people would never dream of talking about.
Way ahead of his time, kind of like Dave Matthews, you know?
Yep.
Like, and just didn't give a fuck.
Frank
what people
Zappa and Dave
thought.
Matthews, basically the same guy.
Sure. Violins and Joe's Garage. I wish I got to see Frank live. I saw
man,
Dave
right?
a bunch.
Oh, nice. Okay, Bernie Sanders.
All right, let's roast this motherfucker.
Goddamn. One of those pieces I'm like exponentially more angry every time I read it because like Bernie's done so much more bullshit and simping and water carrying since the last time. If you fool me once, it's because I didn't think a guard was needed. If you fool me twice, it's because I didn't learn the lesson, so it bears repeating. If you try the same play 3 times running, it's because you know what's coming, and you didn't come to lead, you came to purposefully be misleading. Democracy is dry. It spent a century bleeding, and the husk is gaping open to the sky, out in the field where all the sheep just keep on circling and worrying and bleeding. Waiting for the shepherd that they've tried to hide their faith in, but he's so appealing. They'll gladly give their fleece, it's such a freeing feeling, that even when he leads them to the ledge and starts to urge them on, they're positively beaming. They were told that they were on their way to save democracy, so even as they plummet, they just gloat, they don't consider screaming. And halfway up the cliff, the shepherd's cozy little mittens wrap around the staff of shattered human hopes on which he's leaning. And he shows the gentle grin that used to stir your inner spark, and he says, not me, us, as he gestures to the oligarchs. He knows that if he runs, they're gonna stop him like a stolen car, and he'll easily surrender because it bought a lot of time for laying mines in all the grassroots. Suddenly, the tiniest of movements gets you blown apart. Suddenly, you're in a play that's set on an election day, and voting for the fire, unaware you're playing Joan of Arc. Suddenly, the shepherd pulls the rug and slips a hood across your clueless mug, and everything goes zero dark. I'm gonna warn you once more before it's 2024 and you fuck around and find out who your heroes are. Take a step back from the herd and you'll learn that you can spot who all the shearers are. If you really want to know the product that they're selling, I can take you where the mirrors are. If you think your voice is finally ready, I can tell you where the lyrics are. I hid them in a box I had to bury neath the cobble when they carpet bombed the promenade and raided all the street bazaars. Now all we got's the marketplace, and you're too broke to even bother asking what the options for your treatment are. Suddenly the raw debris of homeless human dignity will find it has 100 teeth for every badge and sweeper's arm. Suddenly they speak in solidarity, and each is armed.
Suddenly the sheep can see the shepherd for his truest form, and all pitch in at once to help him buy the farm. And now it's 0 dark, and all is calm and peaceful, save the distant wail of sirens that approach beside the flames of dawn. Suddenly the carrot's just a string that's on a stick, and all your movements make you sick because the prize is gone. Now, we could go and flee into the forest low and meek, or we can exercise our right to feast and go and graze on Biden's lawn. 'Cause he's been sowing seeds that seep a toxin out to sap a bit from each of us and keep on leeching decades after Biden's gone. So regardless who they summon out of hell to come and do the job, it will not feel like Biden's gone. But in that time of hopelessness, you cannot trust the shepherd when he once again comes asking you to humor him his siren's song. It's cute that you can innocently, honestly assume that's just a symptom of a system that was wired wrong, not the standard feature, basic function, primary objective of a mass hypnosis firebomb. You don't need to know the words to cry along. Someday it'll hit you like an officer who pistol whipped their ride along, broke his jaw and kept his job and kept it moving right along, that voting isn't red or blue or black or white or right or wrong. Voting's like a firing squad where you can choose the firearm. It's slow extinction by and large. It's Super Tuesday supercharged. It's all your futures, roots and all, just tossed out on a garbage barge. It's everybody dropping out to push the biggest oligarch. It's everybody voting fire, registered as Joan of Arc. And that's Shepherd of Hopes.
Bernie Sanders 2024. Fuck you. Fuck you, America. You know what? They already
Chug it, suckers.
They're already saying fuck you, America with Kamala Harris. I mean, like, they'd actually be more popular pushing that asshole right now, believe it or not. And that's sad to say. And we don't want any of them. They can all go pound sand and fuck off.
Yep. All right. Jordan Cheriton Roaster inbound.
Oh, you know, it's funny that you say that because Sunday night, and I'm sure you weren't watching because it's late for you, and it was very late at the end of How Do We Miss That? We read a piece by our friend Crying Grim, a.k.a. Rich Slutsky, over on Substack. And he wrote a piece about the demise of Jen Dyes and the downfall and the sudden exit of Jen Dyes from our space. She had tried to smear Jimmy Dore a couple times, and he wrote an ode and a goodbye, basically saying, I think we can close the book on her and she can go pound sand. And so it's kind of fitting that we're going to talk about a little poo.
Jordan was a good example of someone who has the capability of doing good work and wants to lure you back into the same fucking pit, because that's their whole business model. And was also at a time where everything I made, I was trying to keep at the 2-minute and 20-second mark so I could have it in a video that fit in Twitter and I could post it in its entirety. I'm now not limited to that, thanks to the INN account. But at the time, that was my, like, I knew roughly based on the tempo of the song how many measures would get me at that point, and then I tried to kind of keep it, you know, to where at least if I had to cut something, it was a little bit of fade out, or like I could get it to a comfortable, trimmed, digestible 2 and 20 to be able to circulate, because that was how I was getting traction back when there was traction to be had on Twitter. Yeah, so this song was about that. It is fun to go through this now and read some of these post Biden dropout. It just sounds like an album in and of itself.
Well, and all the predictions about 2024.
Post Biden dropout.
Yeah, but all the predictions about 24, they're basically exactly where we thought we would be.
Yep.
2 years ago. Yeah, they're gonna push this cloud out. They're gonna they're gonna anoint her. They're gonna tell everybody to go fuck themselves. And wow, go figure. And and then they're trying to lock up Trump just for good measure. to make sure that they
Yep.
don't have an opponent.
Yep. But
Oh yeah, 2 and 20.
yeah, especially what was the regardless who they summon out of hell to come and do the job, it will not feel like Biden's gone. Like, oh man, I read that line a minute ago. It's like, oh, let's find out, shall we?
Right? Is it going to be The Rock? I hope not.
God damn, right?
So everybody, Jesse
No,
Jett.
I think they're going to stick with. I think they're going to stick with Kamala. I
Yeah.
really do, because the divisiveness that they're really trying to sow right now with people, with this kind of like woke culture, DEI dudes, I feel like it gives them something to be mad at. That's exactly what we've been trying to groom in them. And then your white progressive liberal gets to relive their whole Hillary playbook and gets to use that again. Because they get to say, you didn't support her because she's a woman of color. That's why you didn't support Kamala Harris. Of course, we have the perfect candidate, and you won't support her because she's a woman, or you won't support her because she's black. And it's the dream.
perfect candidate.
To be,
It's just,
it really is. I feel like that's exactly what they want right now, is someone that obviously she's willing to take it all a little step further than Joe did. And please the donors even more, and people will totally eat it up because she can, have a couple cool, like, sassy moments with some child actors that they bring in, and people eat it up.
I don't know. Oz and I are of the same mentality. Oz the Boomer from Beauty and the Boomer Saturday Nights. If you haven't checked them out, go follow them. Shanda as well. But Oz is of the belief, and I seem to be with him, is that they're going to look at her numbers so badly. Look, they had to get rid of Joe. Joe's out. Now, it's a free-for-all. They've got her anointed. They got all the electors and everybody in line to say, yeah. Now, they're going to start looking at the numbers and how badly she's cratering. And by the convention, they're going to turn to her and say, look, for the good of the party, if you don't want to guarantee that Trump's going to win, you got to step down. You got to step down. And at least let somebody who can actually challenge him step up at some point and try to. Yeah. And that's where I don't think that this circus is anywhere close to over. I think this was all orchestrated, and I don't think that everybody was on the same page as far as how and the timing of when this was done to begin with. Look, you saw from like Obama and Obama not wanting to do the endorsement right away. And then this story coming out about, all these it doesn't matter in the end. Nothing fundamentally changes come November or come January. So, just Kamala is blue Trump, just like Biden was blue Trump. I mean, it's now just blue Trump and, oh yeah, you're a racist and a sexist on top of it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm here. I'm here for it. All right. So yeah, let's go to
let's
2
rip
and
on
20.
some Democrats and get a little Jordan Chariton jab in there too. It's 2 and 20.
Give me 2 and 20. Humor me my humble talents. Let me weep a little bit too openly for those we're leaving hungry, hanging in the balance, hanging lifeless in the eagle's talons, wrapped in lines a dozen times around their local food drives just to find they're only serving heaps of mayo Pete up by the gallon with a hearty double scoop of Biden's word salad. 'Cause Joe's prepared a couple words in no specific order to commemorate imaginary victories, and it must be a taste that you acquire from the Democratic palate. 'Cause I find nothing pleasing, sweet, nourishing, or valid. But here comes Jordan Chariton and all his stunted clones to take that tired Democratic tune and put it to the music of a patriotic ballad. Something that inspires you to cough up $20 and vote for 4 more years of civil servants telling you you're greedy because you didn't cream your jeans to see their flaccid snail-paced climate action. I'm sorry I was not impressed enough to go line up to have my turn to chug directly from the liberal vat of brunch relaxants. I'm sorry I still have a scrap of morals, so I couldn't sleep at night to know I led the working class into the slaughterhouse through promise of a greener pasture. Actually, I take it back. I'm never sorry. I would rather eat my fucking tongue than write a word that served those greedy bastards. I guess that the fundamental difference in what all too often passes as a journalist is just how swiftly some will seek to satisfy their masters. And by some, I mean the only ones they tell you truly matter. I mean the only ones they don't outright erase or bury under peals of laughter. I mean the only ones who speak a truth that we may not embrace until we're in too deep to hope escaping our disaster. I mean the ones who seek to break the spell and try to name the casters, who shouldn't need remind you they have numbers and addresses and are each of them disgustingly deserving of the kind of mortal fear the roar of riot brings and blesses, with conviction like a pastor. We didn't start the fire, but we came to fan the downfall faster. Give me 2 and 20. I'll be sharp and quick and funny, then I'll scream myself bloody when you play that fucker backwards. All the world's a stage, and the theater's belching flames, but really, what's more entertaining than a playhouse full of lively actors? Smoke gets in your eyes like a diversion tactic. Tacitly, you lapse a little, lax your guard, and last thing you'll remember is your faction being fractured and dismembered into fractions, flecks, and fragments. Last thing you'll remember is an ugly dream of fascists filling every fucking cabinet. The last thing you'll remember is the travesty that Amnesty's Assange support was just the side of abstinence. The last thing you'll remember as a member of an audience that never pays attention is the overwhelming feeling that regardless, you're all captive in the captured sense. So none of you can notice if the words that you hear spoken don't match up to what the caption says. In the end, the greatest coup was folks like Jordan using you till you think revolution's waiting just beneath the surface of the tar pit that our democratic status is. In the end, the sound of all these propagandists buzzing, from the hottest steaming takes to imperialist sweet nothings, will all metastasize into a static cyst. And once you see the obfuscation calcified before you, you might look at it a moment and think, how could we let that exist? How could we have struggled just to breathe beneath the weight of all this cancer bearing down on us, and all we did was scream resist? And nonetheless, the warmonger queen persists. She's reducing men and global power to a simple list. Who can keep a pedophile's secret versus who might need a little help to slow their lips? Who might need a visit in their cells so there's no risk that when they take the stand, they magically remember every trip they took to Little St. James or every place they shook Podesta's hand? Who among us knows how many times our flag has flown above the stage where a molester stands? Only Clinton's shadow knows. Only Clinton's fixer, probably bitter still from Navarone. Only Clinton's cult who worship BlackRock 'cause they have a home. Give me 2 and 20, I'll produce the Meatspeaker catacomb. And I'm aware in doing so, I roll the dice, so each might be the final time I walk inside and tell my son that daddy's home. Well, give me 2 and 20, I can eulogize myself and still have plenty left to shred on Ken and Jordan, Cenk and Jeff, and Bernie, Nina, Nancy, AOC, and Chuck and Joe, and TYT, and every Twitter toddler who assumes that makes me GOP. Won't see me sing on bigger streams. I'll snap your platform right in two. Just give me 2 and 20. Here's the worst that I could do. And that's 2 and 20.
Oh, what a list right there, by the way. What a list at the end. All right. Ken, that's Kenny Clips, right? Kenny Clip and Douche. All right. Jordan Charlatan. All right. Jank Horsehead Uger, and let's not forget Jeff Miami. Oh my God, I forgot about him. Jeff Miami thinks the Great Reset is an anti-Semitic conspiracy.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. I forgot all about that guy. We've been blocked so long. Oh my God. Oh.
You know what's funny? I look at that list, and everyone pops in my head, except for I was like, who the fuck is Jeff? It's been 2 years. I'm like, I was like, hopefully Indy knows. Hopefully Indy gets to Jeff, and he's like, and this guy. I'm so glad you did.
I totally
Because if you'd have been like, who's Jeff? I'm like, I couldn't fucking tell you.
Some asshole.
Oh, I totally remember.
Yes, Jeff Miami.
Yes, he was part of the shitlin. And Jackie the wannabe fee. I call her wannabe fee. And
I feel like we may have successfully bullied Jeff off of the internet. I haven't seen him in a long time.
I don't know. I think he just blocked out. Can you imagine the Zionism come out of that guy's mouth right now? Holy shit. Oh my God. You want to talk about exposure? Like, yeah, I would guess that he's probably long gone at this point. Thank you, Anna Mayers, $10 for the JJ tip jar over to Cash App. By the way, if you have not yet...
Anna Mayers.
Cash.app. Oh, that's an old graphic. I have to update that one. Let me go to the one on How Do We Miss That? Because that's a newer one, hopefully. Yeah, that's the new one. That is all of our past and current supporters and the people who have given to help Jesse on the computer that he's on right now, which is fucking awesome. And now we're gonna do
you can't see it, but it's here.
Yeah. And then we're gonna do the Zago Brothers, and we're gonna get the cartoon art for all the Indie Media Awards honorees. Yes, Steve Gill. Yes, this is live. Yes, you are. Your chat is going up there. Mm-hmm. Yes, agreed, Jenny Lynn. It's a big mistake to try to ride the fence between indie and mainstream media. All the birdie grifters who tried that are either lost most of their audience, or they just sold out completely eventually, like Kyle Kalinske. Oh my God, that guy. You know, we don't even talk about him anymore. Like, we had I'm also an admin from the Jimmy Dore Discord server that Reef created years ago. That was how we first met each other, was through that. And I went through an old channel that had like sister servers, and the very first link to a server ever was like a Kyle Kalinske fan server. I'm like, can we get rid of this, please? Because it's been like 4 years, and I don't think we want to do that anymore. So thank you, but yeah, let's get rid of that. So no more link to the Kyle Kalinske server. All right, so we got 2 and 20s
Next
out.
up, it's Nina. It's Nina's turn.
Let's do the half a bowl of shit.
And you know, I gotta say, once again, here she comes at a convenient time to say nice and easy softball pitch tweets and get a whole bunch of retweets. And people are like, Nina talks a lot of sense. Nina, boy, I wish Nina was in there doing some, hey, what about Nina? Even some people who rarely miss have recently shared some Nina wisdom, and it hurts. It hurts deep down. Yeah.
Boy, does that hurt.
Mm-hmm, you know.
Oh, that hurts bad. I don't wanna. I don't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeller's my dog, Ma. I'll do it. All right. This is Hello Somebody. I'll never forget. This was one of those, like, people aren't gonna like you going after the squad, but you also know, like, people aren't gonna like that you went after the squad. it's always super fun after like hashtag squad goals, especially. People are like, how dare you? They're our closest allies. They're in there fighting on our side. The squad's and how did that work out for you guys?
Like,
huh? How did that work out for everybody?
Uh-huh.
How are your savings accounts? How's your grocery bill? Like, oh, Jesus Christ.
And what have they fought against and for while they've been there? All this, like, are they even there? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It was so funny to see, like, Ilhan Omar in the same 24-hour span gives it up to Kamala Harris and is like, let's hear it for Kamala. She's gonna blah blah blah. Can't wait for Kamala. So proud of Kamala. And then she was like, hey, big ups to Rashida for standing up against genocide. And I'm like, oh, because you have no clue to how to fucking do that.
Right. You could
even in a performative sense, they can't be bothered. Only one person can be bothered to performatively object.
Well,
like, it's just
too
much to be bothered. You know,
do they round robin and draw straws over who has to do it? I mean, like, you would think that for Palestine, like, I don't know.
So, all right,
let's roast
Nina's turn.
Another squad member.
This is Hello Somebody.
Hello, somebody desperate. Hello, somebody gullible. Hello, anyone left who can swallow the bait, who ain't already rocking a stomach full. Maybe they knew, and they ate it the same, 'cause there's no other way to assure that their stomach's full. Maybe they just know that they love the taste, so they'll put it away by the shovelful. So hello to somebody trying to feed us the light blue shit like it tastes any different or makes any Democrat any less culpable. Hello to someone who couldn't be troubled to mention a march for the healthcare struggle and spent the day cozy with donors who matter, who keep your progressives all wealthy and comfortable. I recommend your protests be anything but peaceable and all your disobedience be decidedly uncivil. You don't need a permit to declare that you have principles and love. It's only natural that seeing all these fascist assholes stacking up the Capitol would manifest in something loud and passionate and visceral. Keep it in your heart, because it's the only way we'll ever start to flesh out something livable. Maybe that was literal. Maybe our utopia is built from all the sinews of the moderates and liberals, salvaged when they broke their backs with NPR gymnastics, simultaneously hiding from the truth while sticking out their necks for pedophiles, Nazis, and the upper fucking echelon of World War criminals. But baby doll, it's not your fault. It's really all subliminal. They've sewn the propaganda into every thread of visuals, grown the propaganda off of truly noisome victuals, rows of propaganda propagated out of ritual, straight into your ocular and straight out your occipital, straight up to the point you flip on everything that's pivotal. Any crucial aspect of survival for the middle class becomes the holy unicorn you ridicule and snicker at and praise each piece of legislature dancing round the borders of the looking glass. It's not truly possible to try and stop the suffering of people that you spend each waking moment simply looking past, walking past a sobbing homeless family like, look at that. I bet they'd be in better shape if they'd have voted Democrat. Hello, somebody ignorant enough to still believe that there's some fundamental difference in the moral stance between the couple barrels that they're staring at. Like one's just got a slug, the other's loaded up with sarin gas. Both of them are pointed at your temple, and they're both equipped to make this breath your final gasp. Hello, somebody dense enough to split the hairs of which one is the kinder executioner with what will be their final task. Fuck. That's hello, somebody.
Hello, somebody. Can I get a hello, somebody? Come on, hello, somebody. Oh, come on. She used to get us so hyped. She was a great hype person. Yeah, I would say hype man, but she's not a hype man. She was a preacher's daughter, but man, wife of a cop, right? I believe.
I was about to say wife of a cop. Mm-hmm.
Whole family basically
who produced more cops.
Cops.
I gotta say, I write a lot. I don't remember every line of every piece. And maybe it's just a few Modelo's, but I gotta say, this is one of those moments where I'm like, you know what, past Jesse, you phrased that really well. I like that's, I can't think of a better way to put it. Someone dense enough to split the hairs of which one is the kinder executioner. It really is. Like if you're willing to take the time to decide which of these things is marginally less toxic for you. Like, how desperate are you? How ravenous are you for the slightest positive twist you can put on a candidate, that you're willing to get down on your hands and knees with a magnifying glass to find out the difference between these two people. And one of them, you know, is a monster apparently, and then the other person you're told is their polar opposite. But like, it's amazing that someone wants to, and by someone I mean a lot of fucking people still
too many,
want to try to tell you that because you won't suck it up and eat shit and, you know, take the bus wherever it goes and just be thankful that it's still operational, and call that freedom of choice and call that democracy. It's It's depressing. It's heartbreaking, and it's just flat out stupid. It's stupid on levels I still can't properly express.
This is two jars of bleach on a table for me, and I actually shared that again tonight.
Exactly.
You know, pick either one and you lose, so it doesn't really matter.
There's your right to choose. There's your
exercise your right to choose.
Democracy.
That's right.
Good God.
Yeah. So Jenny Lynn says we drink to forget, and
cheers.
Steve says, yeah, he's been drunk since October 7th. Yeah, I think a lot of us kind of have. Denver Attaway is over on the rock bins, and he's laughing at the Camelot thing where she's sitting on. I can't believe that they even made that up.
I just want to show everyone my 1980s Tupperware with ice cubes for my Modelo's that I had downstairs because I was really proud. It was a big dad moment for me. Here's the last one coming out of my little Tupperware.
Nice. That is. Yeah, you need. Well, you've got like 70s furniture kind of back there, like that print.
Yeah, for sure.
And so what we need now is like the conversation pit. Mm-hmm. That's apparently a big 70s thing.
We have the candle going for Tara tonight. Shout out to Our Lady of Perpetual Shadow Ban.
Nice.
All right. Obit.
Oh
man.
All right.
This one's spicy if memory serves. So, I can't remember if I put lime in this already or not. Hang on, just a moment. Dun dun dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, Camelot.
Okay.
Interval. 1980s Tupperware was the best Tupperware, is Dr. Nick Riviera over on Kick. Kick.com/Indie News Network.
It's been proven.
Heidi Benner says Cabalato. Very funny. Here we go. Ode candle to Lady Shadowban. Yes.
All right. So it is a little blurry. There's something. Maybe it's just the camera. I haven't figured out some like precise settings. If I give it something to focus on, you can focus there. But once I pull back, all of a sudden there is some
like too much
and some blur.
Like happening. Too much to look at.
Mm-hmm. It's like I have Reef's smoke setting, but just dialed down to like 10%.
That's all right. It's still a whole lot better than where we were. So
if I go like this, it fits. See the blur to make sense. Like, welcome to the basement. It's 11:10 on a Tuesday.
Corningware.
Okay.
Corningware. Yep. Best Tupperware hands down was 80s Corningware. Sure.
All right, we are officially on the halfway hinge, and yeah, it gets real spicy from here on out.
Oh, we like we like the rest of this, taking it home.
This was anytime you're playing with a phrase like "Death to America," you know, you gotta come correct, as the kids would say, and I tried to toe that line a little tongue in cheek, but also to get my point across, because fuck us. This is Obit. If it's death to America, I'll gladly pen me Obit. For the global gods of terror who controlled the world like COVID, prone to quickly flip their holy shit with zero notice, all you'll hear is the explosion. And when you flee to safety, you'll be blocked by close to 50 cops whose radios don't seem to function. Trigger fingers glued to their assumptions. Trigger fingers sworn that they'll uphold a code of bigotry that Biden signed in blood before the annual police union luncheon. Trigger fingers all too proud to punch in. Trigger fingers all too quick to end a life with no investigation or discussion. Safe to say, de-escalation isn't any interest since it isn't something they can stick their new expensive guns in. It isn't something they can tase, intimidate, or rape, so they don't really see it fitting in their current surging budget. And we all know anyone elected wouldn't dare to dream to touch it. Hell, they jump at any chance they get to fund it. They get a little giddy when they pump the numbers up and push us closer to our future as an open-air dungeon, dragging chains of raw corruption. So if it's death to America, I'll wager that the cause of death was part consumerism, part consumption.
And I'll bet it was administered by wealthy suited worms who excrete the viscous slime of the immoral and the unctuous and slap a coat on every crack in this collapsing structure like they're doing us a favor and not lathering their cancer on the future that they stuck you with. And they're banking on the promise that a lot of us will be so close to starving that we wouldn't look twice before we stomach it. Hunger's not a motivator. Hunger is the hunter that you rummage through the rubble with. Hunger is the capsule that they fill with all their finely powdered policies and stuff you with. And now, here comes the Democratic voter base to shame you for not telling them you're grateful and that they're the lesser evil you'd prefer to starve and suffer with. You could be another Warren voter pumping brakes on living wages because you're coasting on the victory of the suffragettes. Wait a half a century, and then we'll have a dialogue that starts the conversation of a closed-door debate on the merits of a means-tested, temporary wage increase of 7 cents. Out beyond the shifting sands and over the electric fence, bloody revolution is the truest form of self-defense. Where every last dissenting word was taken in as evidence, our hope for the future roars to life to cries of revenant. So when it's death to America, I'll reach for the accelerant. I will pen the obit and be anything but penitent. I will pound the pulpit and be everything but reverent. Cum my fucking brains out so hard it makes me celibate, then stream it straight into your home or closed-circuit televis. I know it's not appropriate or warranted or relevant, but I'm just being honest and acknowledging the elephant before I pop the hinges on my jaw and relish every minute swallowing it whole to the delight of its constituents. I'll tell them that they're free to live their lives without its influence. Tell them that the donkey's next to go, so they should know there's going to be another incident. They should know that we will prove to be our own deliverance. They should know the kinship of the living is invincible and limitless. They should know that anger is a way for hope to bloom and not a way that hope diminishes. So if it's death to America, I'll gladly pen the obit, but I'll probably never finish it. I'll add a line for every day we venture further out from where the capitalists settle down and shat out all their legacy and lineage. I'll add a line for every time United Health was fine to tell another human being that their bottom line was heavily prioritized above the dollar value they've decided their desire to keep living is. Now, raise your hand if you refuse to eat the truth that this is all that living is. Raise your hand if you're prepared to tell your representatives the future of the working class is vastly more important than their insulated living is. Raise your hand if you believe your legislators don't possess the faintest fucking inkling what the honest cost of living is. Raise your hand if you feel like you can't afford to truly know what living is. That's obit.
That's an obit for the US of A.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Wow, where'd that come from? It didn't even sound like you for a second.
Who are these people?
You got possessed.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, that's 3 Modelo, Jesse. I start to sound like Coulter Wall.
One of those sling blades.
Mm-hmm. Reckon I'm gonna have to kill old Jesse.
Uh-oh. Stream Deck just crashed? Really? Come on. That happens to me occasionally. All right.
The ghost of Billy Bob Thornton.
Okay. Now it's back. That was weird.
He's not dead. He's just a weird enough dude that I figured he could also have his own ghost at the same time. That wouldn't surprise me. That's just some Billy Bob Thornton shit.
Who are these people?
There we go. All right. So what do we have next? We have got Kent State engaged. Now, you had never played this on the show until episode 40.
Yeah.
And we did the
recently.
Wheel of Fortune. We did the Wheel of Fortune episode. I love that cover. Yep. That's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it's it came right at the time that all the college campus stuff was happening. So it kind of worked.
Yeah, and now it's just fun to do any of these and be like, let's see if there's a Biden reference that hits different now that he's stepped down and just kind of poofed.
well, yeah. where in the world is Joe Biden? It became like Carmen Sandiego or Where's Waldo? Where can you? And is that Biden 1, Biden 2, or Biden 3? You know, that's a whole other story for another day. But it's weird. It's definitely weird. As the Democrats are all getting on board to say, it's weird. It's so weird.
Oh,
you know
right. Oh, God.
You know what's so fucking weird? The fact that you just anointed a candidate, number one, and the fact that your existing guy is completely hidden in the basement and nobody knows where the fuck he is. And every time you see him, he either looks completely spry, like it was never him in the first place, or totally incoherent, or the wrong height. The wrong height. Wait, what? He's supposed to be the same height as Bibi Netanyahu. How is he 4 inches tall? Yeah, they've got him in cryostasis somewhere, and eventually they'll tell us all. I swear to God. So yeah, Kent State Engage. You know, it's written about. It's written about the original Kent State, 1968, right? And the convention, and what are we about to have here in about 2.5, 3 weeks? Chicago is going to be fucking insane. And, you know, Matt from the Homeless Left said something to me that he's like, you know, I don't know if you want to do something like, I'm going to be there and I'm thinking on a stream live. Like, dude, honestly, I would rather pick lint out of my fucking navel than do anything having to do with the DNC. I love you. I wish you well. But I am truly anti-duopoly. I want nothing to do with that clown show, and I want nothing, like, I'm not gonna report from outside of it and protest and be mad about it, and like, nah, I'm just, it's not.
I'll throw my feces at the building like a crazy person.
I'm not letting it occupy my mind space. I'm just not. I can't. Like, when we know that the result is gonna end up being, doesn't matter anyway, they're gonna get stomped by Trump. So and the exit polls. The polls are saying now. The polls. Oh my God, guys. Oh my God, guys. All right. Let's get to Kent State Engaged, because otherwise I might bash my head into a wall.
It feels like every other day is Kent State, and we're the people watching from the safety of the gate, muttering repeatedly, we're gonna be okay. Little did we know our fate was forged and on its way. Little did we know our last names were on a collar with a binary chain. Little did we know they're only working through the A's, so at most we got a couple days of listening to all those precious freedoms fade away, watching all your neighbors learn in real time how they never really had them anyway, watching as we occupy ourselves. And you can try to occupy yourself, but eventually you're gonna have to reckon the embarrassment of seeing that the terrorists were speaking perfect English and they look just like yourselves. And you could smell a power trip, distinctly American. You could hear the hate in their voices so well. You recognized the boots when they pressed into your face and the sweet familiar taste of the composite shell. And suddenly, the film decides to pause itself. Suddenly, the animals that wither in your cage would sooner claw themselves. Suddenly, we start to see a fascist is a fascist, and it doesn't fucking matter what they call themselves. Suddenly, we start to see their colors are irrelevant. Suddenly, the film is turning black and white, and all the red and blue feels just as far away and long ago as civil rights. And suddenly, it's Groundhog Day on the Kent State firing line. And you're a student holding up a picket sign. You're the dying breed before a generation born with all its senses in the sand unless it's dinner time. A generation undereducated in the hopes that their capacity for questioning their station might be minimized. A generation dancing to the same song witnessed by a million eyes. A generation struggling to save itself when all our means to aid ourselves were weaponized. Poverty was branded on our skin and we were tased or made to step aside. Kettled into gutters and the ruling class is laughing as they pass us by. A ruling class of warped, perverted sadists, so empowered by our capitalist system, their humanity's impossible to recognize. So fattened off our taxes and our blood and our misfortune that they'll never die. They'll be comfy somewhere else that Bezos terraformed and colonized when Earth is sunken under waves of human refuse and we all get left behind, terrified. Our first mistake was standing by and watching human suffering incentivized. And the last of our mistakes was probably painted on a sign at Kent State that never made it past the censor's eyes. Shouted down to ashes under angry crowds of Semper Fi. When it's on your block, your only option might be frozen to the spot and truly petrified. Like you heard the first shot at Kent State, and it went through your sign and right into somebody's side. And we'll all go down in history as police-assisted suicides. So tell the founding fathers that we sing the songs of patricide, chanted out in triplicate, unanimously ratified, and we'll all go down in history as police-assisted suicides. That's Kent State Engage. So, two things. One, obviously, the title is a play off of Killswitch Engage. And the reason capitalist system is capitalized in the text there is because that was written a day or so after they released the new papers on domestic extremism, and one of the boxes that you had to tick to be considered an extremist was someone who blames our capitalist system for problems in the U.S. or problems abroad. So I made sure that I wanted to really
guilty.
Guilty. This is it. This is the one.
Guilty.
This motherfucker right here.
Yep, that's me. For sure. Okay.
Oh, this is fun. This brings us to some of the meat and potatoes.
Oh.
Let me see if there's anything I want to explain before this piece. I don't think so.
So
there's the hyacinth. I did this one not too long ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and you explained about her recording her deal with the record companies and how she re-recorded them and called them Taylor's version, which is why you called this one that. But beyond.
The hyacinth moment. There's a reference to a garden full of hyacinths. Obviously, in Hyacinth, on the coming of spring, the hyacinths are the plants in the garden that are the former workers that you get buried once you're kaput. They plant you out in the garden and you're fertilizer for the hyacinths. And so I made sure to reference those here. In this instance, someone pissing in that garden. But so anytime I'll reference, I think there's another piece too that mentions a garden of hyacinths. And any chance I get, that's what I'm talking. Obviously, it's that it's us. It's the workers in there.
That's like the Matrix, where we're all kind of laying in those little jelly thingies, capsules,
or jelly pods.
All right.
Yeah. Here we go. Communism, Taylor's version.
Blue check, better hold your breath. I'll slap you out your Ray-Bans. Toe-to-toe, we'll do-si-do and dip until you faceplant. If you want statistics, I can cough 'em up like Rain Man. Now your argument has 0 arms and legs like Rayman. Now we're touring 2019 like it was Graceland. I dropped 50 pounds and started dressing like a stagehand. Quarantine was born and I restored my former waistband. Now I make the trailers for our future in the wasteland. Back on my bullshit, back at my heaviest, here to grab the artifact and jam it in the edifice, force it in the orifice, absorb the sordid medicine. All the good cops are either dead or quickly jettisoned. No, I'm not a nihilist, and no, I'm not a pessimist. I'm just your average realist with a fetish for the precipice. Bend you over this abyss. I want to make you sweat a bit. I'll drop you once it registers, and know that you'll remember it. Daughters of the Revolution soon may lose their membership, maybe through a dissolution, maybe through dismemberment. I won't be the one to choose or execute the severance, but stand in solidarity with every tool that severs it. Every crimson pool we made of every fascist fool who watched us sacrifice our schools to fund the final crowning jewel affixed in Lockheed Martin's diadem. What's another 20 dead? Our leaders never cried for them. They're laughing in the garden, drunk and pissing on the hyacinths. The royal jubilee to praise this fascist Biden monarchy is imminent, and it would not be possible without the constant slaughtering of innocents, overseas and here at home and anywhere we find a shred of innocence. We won't stand for peace, not in the global or the inner sense. We won't let a single nation live outside our prison fence. And we'll provide the bullets that defaced an honest journalist and turn around to praise ourselves for fearlessly upholding the free press and their important service. But I'll make a bet that Anthony starts blinking awfully nervous when you ask him why Assange is being jailed without a purpose. For what may be the greatest, most courageous act of journalism carried out in earnest. All to be rewarded with a slow-mo execution stretching out across a decade until they commute his sentence half an hour after he goes in the furnace. Sometimes I think the world is only turning out of spite. It's like we died a long time ago and we're so used to being burned that when we saw the light, we all assumed that it was here to burn us. And so we fled into the shelter of a flooded circus, led to higher ground by all the clowns who own the only raft that floats above the sewage. And yes, there's plenty room, but they insist we don't deserve it. They insist the system works. They know it isn't perfect, but say we can't let great become the enemy of good, or all these rolling waves of shit we call democracy and bled out every dime for won't be worth it. But I submit this joke of an American experiment has not been worth a fraction of a damn since we birthed it. I submit that all our contributions to the planet, when subtracting our destruction and the millions we left dead and labeled damages, would leave us with a failing grade of worthless. My apologies to any blue checks who might be listening. I'm sure that made you clutch your pearls and $1,000 purses. Did I interrupt your fantasy of healthcare exclusivity, replete with fleets of Tesla hearses? Or your daily round of golf claps to pacify our broken nurses? I know my spoken word is like the scalpel of a surgeon who is working on behalf of the insurgents, but I'm just here to open up your eyes so you can see the true reality and not your censored, tailored version. You can get your copy of my brand new manifesto. I took all my calls for violence, made it danceable, and presto, called it communism, Taylor's version. Called it Tales of the Great American High-Speed Rail Aversion. Called it How to Put a Bigot into Power, then collectively and feebly coerce him into acting like a decent person. This will be the most important vote you'll ever cast because we have to wrestle power from the current ruling class and hand it over to the other team of smiling suited serpents. This will be the most important vote you'll ever cast. Now watch them toss it in the vat and see it melt into the surface. And that's communism, Taylor's version.
I love that. The Great American High-Speed Rail Aversion. Every 4 years they throw that map out.
Yeah.
Every 4 years. We have that. And then they show you what China's doing with their rail system and what Europe did with their rail system. And they just gaslight us. Yep. Once again. What else is new?
Oh, man.
Yeah,
all right.
Escalation. And real life. That's happening. But yeah, Met Gala airstrike. Yay.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Let's take
a fun one.
A chunk out of AOC now.
Quick and straight. Yep. And my Bill Maher line in this. I love it and I hate it at the same time. All right. This is Met Gala airstrike.
Influencer TikTok. Capitalist pig dog. Immigration flip-flop lobbied via rim job. Met Gala airstrike, A-lister scrimshaw, paparazzi lip sip the scandal as it drips off. You know I'd love to meet our leaders that were tipped off back when COVID was a few of us with wicked coughs and be like, sorry, Mr. Senator, that you don't speak in terms of human worth, just in kickbacks and dipped stocks, and then punch that motherfucker like a shift clock. Hurry back home to my stack of straw dolls with their limbs off. Biden's on the screen, and he's confusing Xi and Kim Jong, talking out his SIM card like someone plugged him in wrong. But then we hit the gist, and suddenly his pitch drops. He whispers right at camera one with his fist balled. His words hang with the subtlety of a lynch mob. He says, rat your neighbor out and get a $5 voucher for the CIA gift shop. Hell, you'll even get a free stick of boot-flavored lip balm. Every day we make enough consent to fill a strip mall. So when I say eat the rich, I'm talking still raw, bone in, limb by greedy limb with a skill saw. Picture, if you will, a modern take on Naked Prey starring Bill Maher. Picture misery deeper than a reach in Biden's pill jar. You pull a fistful out and down it, honey, here we are. The future's full of shit and clear enough to know we're better veering off and fleeing far. Somewhere Jeff will never think to look beyond the fading stars. Beyond the homeless camps they came and swept for the parade of stars who showed their faces proudly while we covered ours. Met Gala butcher block. We feed the hungry and we tax the filthy rich until they fucking starve. Poke the hornet's nest enough, eventually it comes apart. Eventually I'll run my course and numb my art. I'll snuff the little embers out and clean my car. Wait it out enough, and then my sample bank will seem bizarre. Just foreign clips of fuzzy inspirations that I've washed away or smoked beneath a half a dozen years of char. Till I've long forgotten the familiar buzz of pressure in my ears when it's just me alone, with thoughts of drones, Boston dogs, BlackRock homes, and women wearing maiden's garb. The times when privately I wondered if we'd ever shake these chains of ours, when every vote for lesser evil yields another toxic barb. A pox on your democracy, a swelling in your child's heart. Before the time to educate ourselves is gone, and suddenly our trial starts. Those among you capable of standing, please rise. Wipe the crocodile tears from your landlord's eyes before the trial starts. All rise, and the trial starts. That's Met Gala airstrike.
Yeah, it is. Met Gala.
All right.
And we need that tax to rich yet. Wait, somebody actually put the tax to what? Somebody said that. Oh, there it is. Teamwork, a tax to what? Yes. Remember Met Gala? She wore the stupid dress and they wrote tax to rich on the back. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was what, 3 years ago already? Like, dude, it all blends together.
Yep.
Timbuktu, is this the Scream Room? I think it might be. You're almost at the end of it because we're up to $50 already, and
this is it.
We're gonna cry for America one more time tonight, and then we're gonna get the hell out of here. But if you have not joined us on Friday night for Clip Show, my God, what the hell are you doing? Because clip shows are awesome. I've been spending a lot of time like kind of putting these things together. I've even like cut original stuff out of streams that have never been cut as singles or listened to since the live stream.
Yep.
So we're gonna go back this time and go episodes 23 to 33. It'll be the third quarter of the 4 quarters of American
Nice.
Tradition so far, and that's going to include Halfway to the Black Site. That's going to include Bonnarome. That's going to include One Night in Utah, where we've never played any Utah Phillips stuff since that night. I never even cut it. So I don't even have a set list for that night. I've got to really go through that one. That'll take me a little time. But, man, I love making those shows. I love running them. They go too quickly for Friday night.
Yeah.
You know, this Friday was 2.5 hours, so it was a chunk. Usually they're about an hour and a half, hour and a half. And they go quick, and they're fun. Chat's a good time. And come hang out with us Friday nights, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on INN on all the channels, as usual, right here, like you are now. So, yeah, we got $50 left. Anna Maris is flipping out over on Rockfin because she says, I have a love and hate relationship with all of your stuff. Yes.
Me too.
Somewhere, I have to pause the scroll for a second. No, I don't want to turn on text-to-speech. Where's the pause to scroll? Fred Edward put up that Jeff Miami now has protected all of his tweets, so you can't see his timeline anymore. What a fun Twitter that must be.
I bet you.
Does he follow you or something? Can you see it?
Better than that. He follows Cy Oppenheimer.
Oh, yes! Oh, that's so good.
Let's see.
Oh, so good. Wow.
Yep. Oh! Damn, he must have found me out.
Uh-oh.
Not anymore, he doesn't.
Nope, no more following the psyop. Bummer.
Oh, well, we had a good run.
That was a good
You
time.
sad bastard.
That dude just locked it down hard at some point. Yes, chat's always a good time. Kill Your Egregores is here. we've got T-Borka. All right, Yum Yum Modelo. Yes, Anna Mayers. She's a big Modelo fan. Apple Orchard Trials. And can't wait for the new show this Sunday. Yep. There may be a new show showing up. And by the way, if you missed last night, there was another new show that debuted on INN called The Maple Files.
Yep.
Himbo and Yeti did about 2.5 hours, all Canadian focused and Canadian issues. And there were a couple of people that were like, yeah, nobody's really talked about Canadian news really like this. And very cool for like leftists from a communist perspective. And Yeti's going to be doing some homesteading, and they just bought a plot of land. So he's been doing 3D printing and hydroponics. And he did gardening last year. He did a whole series on the Substack about gardening and soil choices and all that stuff. So I'm excited to see what more we're going to get out of Yeti coming in the future. He just got a new computer and a new mic also. So everybody's doing the thing. We're going to have a good time. Yeah, there's going to be a gaming stream in the afternoons on Sunday is the plan, but we'll see how that goes. You know, I'm excited. I'd like to see it. So we'll see how that goes. I know Heidi Better and Himbo have been working on something there. So yeah, $50. Let me switch you to lyrics so everybody can see them. And you want to do any setup for this piece?
Yeah. This was about what we love to do to someone's memory after they're gone, especially after we have a hand somehow in their passing. That someone who is very critical of the United States ends up being framed posthumously as a much tamer figure is not by accident by any means. And I was cleaning one day and I found a $50, actually two of them, and I started looking at it and thinking about JFK's views on healthcare and then what we do to people, other people that we've had a hand in, directly or indirectly, and how we love to whitewash someone's legacy to the point that we will totally flip the script and make them a supporter of some of the very things they stood against when they were alive, and that led to this piece. This is definitely one of my favorites of mine. I actually I keep both of those $50 in my wallet behind my license. I keep that fucking thing on me at all times. So yeah, this is $50. I found a $50 in a dresser drawer. Spent the time I would have spent just staring at the floor, staring down at JFK, trying to imagine the immoral sort of irony
that makes a nation feign commemoration of a man that it had murdered by the CIA. Trying to envision us if we possessed the health care he had talked about in 58. I guess the takeaway is it's a piece of fucking cake to celebrate somebody's bravery once you've assured they're safely in the grave. I bet if Pat Tillman were alive today that he would say the same. And I'm sure we're in for more if they let Julian decay. I bet that they would put him on a quarter. I bet that they would name conference rooms in his honor at the IMF, the New York Times, the FBI, and Citibank. I guess the takeaway is it's a no-risk softball pitch to uplift somebody's image once their image is the one thing that remains. And the worst is when it's coming from a figurehead who's funding every agency that authored the remains and working with the agency that doctored the remains, the agency that obfuscates the facts and spins a constant storm of shifting blame. I guess the takeaway is that America will sing your praises loud as day to celebrate the fact you and the threat you posed have passed away. Shit, they'll throw you a parade. And business, just as usual, will live another day. And all of the insurance gods will bathe in all the praise and make donations rain. And all their winged, wicked little lobbyists will blow their horns and light the flames. The ceremony starts, and they in single column march up to the weathered onyx arch and sand the marker down that bears your name. So you no longer are and never were until your hideous rebirth within the corporate frame. Until you're back from the dead and then bound for all eternity in propaganda's chains. It's the very ritual that whittled down the legacy of Martin Luther King into a parable on unity for liberals to claim. And once they learned it worked, the world would never be the same. And now it's getting worse. I guess they're dialing in their aim. History is a straight line, but so's a moving train, which is heavily dependent on our infrastructure grade. We are building back better in a nation built on slaves. So you can guess the ultimate direction that a pathway to the future paves. They don't want you living, or they'd offer you a living wage. They don't want you feeding any homeless. It's just best to leave them freezing in the alleyway. They don't want you speaking words of hope unto the hopeless, or they'll do you up like JFK. I found $50 in my dresser, and I spent the rest of my whole day depressed because this constant drop in pressure means that you can catch the bends from simply sitting up in bed awake. It looks like 2022 is really not the year for you to have your lives improved. I guess you'll have to wait. But not to fret, election season's just around the bend. Why don't you go ahead and save the date? So you can throw yourself before the magistrate and beg to have your family saved. You don't know the people you elect to lead you more than what their ad portrays. You can't tell their offerings of saccharin and arsenic from ordinary aspartame. And you can't really comprehend the kind of greed this country feeds upon until you're Jackie O wearing close to half a brain. And probably the half that would have seen us passing M4A. All to keep the pieces in their places in the never-ending profit game. All to weave a tapestry of ampersands, each allow a claim adjuster room to just dismiss you with a callous hand like fuck you and your meds. Fuck you for requesting a procedure that you need so you can stand. Fuck you and your family and your poor demands. So welcome to the land where we'll assassinate a man and then put him on a $50 stadium or stamp and proclaim ourselves the greatest country ever master planned, killing off its citizens, enriching all its brands. And that is $50.
We're fucked.
There it is. You
Yeah,
know
we
what?
need one of those.
I'm gonna. Well, I still got a little bit of battery left here. I'm gonna fire off one more piece.
So February 4th, and it was released 5 months later on July 4th. You wrote that, what?
Yep.
Like, was that Super Bowl Sunday you wrote that on? It's kind of
Yeah,
funny.
I think so.
That's funny. Just put them on a stadium, a $50 stadium, you know. maybe there was somebody written on the stadium, and then there was Pat Tillman, so there was the football talk also.
Yep.
I think it might have even been Raymond James Stadium in Arizona, possibly that year.
I'm keeping quite a bit for the new album under wraps until the album comes out. But especially reading two pieces tonight that talked about Julian still being in Belmarsh feels like I should I don't know, it feels like I should do this piece. Let me send this to you too.
Shit.
So that everyone can see it.
Oh boy.
So I wrote this June 26th. When we all of a sudden got the news that like Julian was out, it was very hard for me to wrap my brain around, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a lot of mixed emotions, because obviously more than anything, so much of us had resigned ourselves to not ever seeing him out, and for him to be out is such a huge win.
Yeah.
But it also felt like it was at the cost of the larger issue that we'd always said, it's not just about Julian, it's about all of our free speech. And it felt like thank God Julian got out, but free speech didn't. Free speech is still in there. And that was hard to reckon with. And it was one of the weirdest feelings ever that first night, because I distinctly remember everyone having this massive sense of celebration, and I felt like an outsider for the first time among all my friends and like people I consider, politically, like from a belief standpoint, my peers. And I was like, why can't I feel this? It felt like it's Christmas and you're not in the spirit and you can't get in the spirit or something. It's like, why turn on the holiday vibes? Like, I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. I kept waiting for the like, fuck you, like the rug pull to come. And I feel like at a certain point,
I think you're not the only one.
Is that just how conditioned we are? Because we never get fucking good news. What's good news, So at some point, it's like,
it comes at a compromise
maybe it's just
every
me,
time.
But it was hard for me to formulate my opinion, and then I started writing this piece, and it wasn't until I saw him hug Stella that all of a sudden, like, I felt emotion, and like, no matter what, that is absolutely something worth celebrating. And we're at a point where sometimes you only get a little fucking sliver to celebrate over, but it's what we get, and maybe that's all our diet is going to be from here on out, are those little slices of a victory. So I wrote this piece about processing that, and about wanting to feel what everybody else felt, and wanting to be able to celebrate something that we fought over and cried over so much, and then just not feeling that, and like activate, like trying to just feel that, and how alienating that was, and how bizarre that was. And not to make it all about me, but this is what it was for me. And I feel like where the conclusion I come to at the end of this piece is definitely where I left off. And I hope that any misgivings someone might have about my views on it would be cleared up by the end of it. So I dropped it into the AT folder for you.
Oh, I've got it all set up and queued,
Okay.
and we're ready to go. I just, when you were
All right.
ready, I'm all set. But thank you,
Yeah.
$20 for Sean from the Accord Lord, Sean. Thank you, really appreciate that. All right, wow. I'm ready. I'm ready. I was not.
Are
ready.
you?
I was not prepared, but now I am getting myself prepared. Okay. So let's get Jesse reading. And let's do
This
it.
is the win. All we get before we go. We almost never cop a W. The fourth estate is subterfuge. Like, what the fuck's a win? So when we got our taste of paradise, joy was in the air and I just could not let it in. I was Trapper John McIntyre, shrugging off the ceasefire, sulking in my gin. Sitting, waiting for the rapid fire, peace talks on the tapping wire, lost into the wind. Now journalism's greatest sin is putting truth to print. Camp on full parade like happy days are here again, and I was watching from my tent knowing this is not the end. With thoughts that dwell on freedoms that our laws do not defend, who have lost their closest cellmate, only confidant and friend. He is leaving on a jet plane, and they might not meet again. He is off to plead his guilt for thinking we might take a stand, the crime to have assumed the best of man. Now, I'm not VP Harris, so I needn't try pretend that I can see this world unburdened by the truth of what has been, but I don't see a future where they've cashed in our consent, where you could land in Belmarsh for possession of a pen. The leads are buried deep beneath the tongues that spoke dissent, and Jesus, you will not forget the scent. But if I so know our ruling class, then what did I expect? How did this play out within the confines of my head? Did I expect the Davos gang to tearfully repent? Did I expect the CIA to graciously relent, to bow out like, you got us, guess we'll just be on our way, then clean out all their desks and march themselves down to The Hague? Did deep down somehow I still think some rules-based law pervades, in spite of all the evidence that overwhelms my brain? They do not need a precedent to bury us in chains like they do not need a president to carry out their aims. That corpse up on the stage is our commander just in name, and the ones who pull his strings are running out of things to say. His very touch has desiccated fundamental change, while the donors pick the profits off the bones of Boeing's planes. I have no way of knowing who will place us in our grave, but I know who fronts the cost, and I know who bears the blame. And I know who picks the picture our memorial displays, and I know who quotes the scripture as the mosques go up in flames, and I know who plays the victim as their bulldozing remains. I know who owns our votes, and either way, it's all the same. Then we got a taste of victory, but I just tasted doubt. Like I popped too many red pills, now I'm foaming at the mouth. Now I'm combing through these videos to satisfy myself as though anything I'd find could ever help. I am a stranger in my skin when there's a victory on the breeze. My nerves are pulled so thin I barely touch, much less perceive. But everyone I know is feeling genuine relief. And God, I wish so much that could be me. But deformed by my suspicions, I can't lift my head to hope. I am waiting for the other shoe to drop down on our throats. It is very much a win to see him finally going home. But perhaps the bigger win is not our own. Perhaps we won a battle, but the war is set in stone, buried under Gaza's beaches, refugees, and bones. Perhaps we never stood a chance, and speeches bought and sold. Perhaps they target journalists to stop our history cold. And every anchor drags you down to share what they've been told, the basic facts you need to know to keep you in the fold, shaped by those intent to not see Gazans growing old as the Nazi referendum takes its hold. Suppose one day those anchors cannot find the will to speak. They cannot muster up the gloss to brighten so much bleak. Suppose they reach a point where they can't act like nothing's wrong, just to find their voice was silent all along. Perhaps we'll reach a point where we're surviving off of leaks,
where even something whispered beckons welcome of a breach. We'll finally get the picture and we'll understand our needs, but find that we lack access to free speech. For now, I feel no sudden flash of hope grab hold of me, and I don't feel any safer than I did this time last week. But when I saw them, finally free to touch each other's cheek, I think I felt a win, and I will learn to let it be. Perhaps the little victories are the only ones we'll know. Perhaps there is no greater win than finally being home, than holding close a loved one who you lost so long ago. Suppose that's all we get before we go. And that's the win.
Fuck, dude. Okay. Yeah. That's the win, but is it, is it, you know, a few of us were definitely feeling that and wondering, like, yeah, it should feel better than this.
Yeah.
Anna says OMG and beautifully written, of course. Yes, I love this, of course. Yep. And somebody else said that they're a tourist. That's funny. Yeah, goddamn, man, that's right, Sean. I'm with that. Like, I
love you guys.
I need
love
to
you guys so
absorb
much,
that,
seriously.
man. Like,
All
are
right.
you kidding? Damn.
So I don't know if anyone knows. I'm a huge MASH junkie, and there's an
Trapper
early
John.
episode where Trapper John, they're getting word that there might be a ceasefire, and everyone starts partying, and he's like, bullshit. He's like, we are not lucky enough.
No.
Man, I'm not. And he's just sitting in his tent and drinking gin while they're like doing this little parade through the camp. And he's like Debbie Downer the whole time. And then sure as shit, they're like, oh, hey, guess what? The war is back on. And he's like, I told you, fucker. I told you it was too good to be true, you know? And I didn't want to feel that way, but I was just like, there's no way this is. No, there's something, no, what? Like,
No, look, I was convinced that something was going to have, like, either that plane, they were going to do something to that
for
plane.
sure. There was a million
or,
things, yeah.
You know,
Short term, long term, there's just so much. And
There's
again,
just
I'm like,
no
we
way.
never get good news. Maybe I just genuinely don't know how to process this. Maybe I'm so burned from all these fucking times that I'm looking for the psyop in everything, you know? And maybe to a degree, if I'm doing that, then they did win to some degree.
Right? Like if you can never really
man.
enjoy it.
If I get something that we've been wanting so badly, and I get to watch it happen, and the whole time I've got a million different scenarios going on, and I'm trying to figure out who does this benefit to a greater degree than us? What's really going on? And I'm like, fucking stop, you know? It's just, yeah, it was a weird couple of days before I ended up writing that piece. And once I did, then like, yeah, and all of a sudden I could kind of wrap my head around it. But that was, yeah.
So,
yep.
Damn. Okay, now we have to actually, like, we got 2 weeks on that, so you can go back and watch this replay, and you can watch this again. I'm sure I'll cut it out, but we don't usually put out the pre-album stuff as singles. We'll wait until he puts that out, and then I'll get those all together, and we'll gather all the performances for all the original first reads like this, and that's wow. So tomorrow night, we've got